There we go. I ain't gonna try to hold back nothing. Get into this. But first, I'll have my thing up. Let's do this.
Got 99 problems and a bitch ain't one. 99.
I'm just saying. You're just yelling.
No, bitch ain't one.
Peach! What the fuck?
Mario, you know we're not together anymore.
Y'all know each other? Here we go!
No, bitch ain't one.
Lie through your fucking teeth. I don't know it. You know it. And this fucking hoe know it.
Come on, leave me alone.
You ain't gonna hit no woman in my house.
What woman, sir? This is a hoe! Bitch, you got 45 seconds
No,
and I'm
bitch,
late.
ain't
Tony, hand me my boots, cause I'm about to go skiing.
Sky, you lose small your life.
Let's just go ahead and get into it real quick. So, you know, Corey lost a fan. I know he don't give a fuck, but I don't give a fuck either. I'm gonna say, he lost a fan. Me. He lost a viewer. I should actually say, because I was never a fan. But at the end of the day, like, he went into some basic ass trick shit, and Marcus basically exposed himself as a simp too. And it's like, you know, it's one thing for when you are basically doing some comedy shit, right? So if you're just doing some comedy shit and talking about your life, nobody gives a fuck. I mean, if you're calling somebody if you're calling yourself, I ain't shit nigga and I fuck $200 bitches, okay, cool, that's you. You an ain't shit nigga, you fuck $200 bitches, okay, cool. And if you want to make jokes from that perspective, that's one thing. That's cool. Who cares? You're talking about your life. We're all laughing at your life. You know what I'm saying? Laughing with you, laughing at you. You know what I'm saying? And for the things that you're pointing out that may be resonating with our lives, we're laughing at that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? There's a huge amount of things that I've been in agreement with. But when he stepped into a stepdad role, it's kind of funny because, like, first of all, he's like previously gone into like how he's, you know what I'm saying, sort of in and out of the lives of his children. He's expressed sentiment that may or may not be true for his private life, so far as you know, him not really, I wouldn't say not giving a damn, but being passe about the notion of being in his children's lives, um, versus out of his children's lives. It's never been like I'm a parent, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking on a co-parenting role. It's like his presentation of himself as a father has been like, hey, if we get along and I still fuck with your mom, then I guess we'll have a relationship. If not, if she get on my motherfucking nerves, then deuces to you, right? And that part, frankly, I can relate to. But then he went into the weird shit, which is the I'm gonna play the role of a stepdaddy shit. And so I'm gonna take a pause before I get into this little video and do some prefaces. First of all, like, um, I personally, just so everybody knows what perspectives y'all gonna get when I go down this road. I used to be married. I used to be on that simp shit. There's only one woman for me bullshit. I'm gonna be with her until I die bullshit. And then I got off that train, right? I got off that train. We'll leave it at that. And in getting off that train and stepping into the real world, I realized that that none of these women are really worth my time like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking literally with my bitch in the other room. None of these bitches are really worth my time like that. You know what I'm saying? You're never gonna get what you want out of women, right? You're never gonna get what you want for a long-term relationship out of women, right? The ideal is that you pick somebody who's gonna eventually be a very good co-parent, but that's all you could really hope for, right? These women are not yours. There's nobody who you can assign. Even that little comment of my bitch, that ain't my bitch. That's a bitch, right? That's not my bitch. That's a misnomer. But anyways, you just pass time with people. You don't have ownership of them in any way, shape, fashion, or form. And with that in mind, like the only thing that's really yours, or not really yours in possessive form, but yours so far as being a part of you, is your child, something that you make with that child, right? And coming from that perspective of having a situation where I have a horrible co-parenting relationship with a piece of shit covert narcissist, who, it's very difficult for me to, how do I say it, swing punches in that situation without nicking my child, right? It's kind of hard for me to fight in that situation without even coming close to hitting my child. And I'm talking about metaphorically, of course. And so, coming from that perspective of having to make that choice, I've made a very tough choice in that situation, which is to leave it in the hands of the universal mind and not necessarily try to swing and even possibly hit my child or damage my child more so than she already is. So coming from that perspective, like, I know what I've used that situation for. Like, I've already given up on the notion of a co-parenting relationship with that person in any way, shape, fashion, or form. And there's very specific reasons why it's very difficult for me to do that without damaging her income potential. But at the end of the day, I've made that choice, and this choice is for the purpose of the benefit of my child, right? But what I've taken from that is, in my personal life, no matter, I have various women that I deal with, and I've been dealing with for quite some time. I used to have a tight 4, now it's more like a loose 8 or 9. Because people acting crazy and don't want to stay on the team in an orderly fashion. But that's neither here nor there. That's a conversation for another day. But what I've always advocated and what I've always pushed for every woman that's in my circle of friends, is that if they have a father in the lives of their child, for them to try their best to improve that relationship. I've always said to them, like, listen, if you're going to be with me, or if you're going to be in my circle, or if you're going to be dealing with me, you have to, if you have a bad relationship with your child's father, you need to rectify that, right? You need to fix that, because it's not about you. It's about him being able to have access to his child and being in the life of his child, right? if there's something that happens with his child, he's the one who's going to put his life on the line. I may or may not, right? I haven't been put in that situation, thank God, right? That's not something I wish for myself. But if I'm put into a situation where I'm having to guard somebody else's child's life with mine, I don't necessarily know if I could do that. I know I can do that with my own. I know I could easily do that with my own. I know I could easily take a life over my own. I could take several lives over the life of, I mean, so far as any situation with my child, if I actually have to defend her life, I have no problem with taking somebody else's life in order to do that. Like, I have none whatsoever. And I have no problem with giving up my life immediately for that, for my child, period. Right? But I don't necessarily know if I have that capacity to do that for somebody else's child. And so, like, I've always advocated for that relationship to be restored, to be healthy for the child, right? I don't really care. Again, I don't have possession of these women in any way, shape, fashion, or form. So at the end of the day, like, if something sparks in that relationship, if they end up going back to their child's father and making a family again out of that situation, I have no problem with that, right? That hasn't necessarily happened, right? To my knowledge, that hasn't necessarily happened. But at the end of the day, I have no problem with that because I don't see these women as mine, right? I see them as people who are passing in and out of my life, and we'll have fun while you're here. And if you decide to leave, you leave. If you decide to stay, you stay. And you know what I'm saying? So long as you stay in a situation where it benefits me, I'm cool with that, right? So I've always encouraged that relationship to the best of my ability. I've always said, like, and every woman that's ever been with me, every woman that currently is fucking around with me, you can ask them and they'll tell you immediately, like, yeah, he's brought that up. Yeah, he's brought that up. Yeah, he's brought that up. Yeah, he's made that a requirement. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? At some point, he told me that if I don't do this or if I don't do that, so far as rectifying that relationship, we're not going to be together anymore. Yes, that's occurred, and yes, we do have some sort of relationship. Every single person around me, hand to the universal mind, has a decent relationship, or is at least being pressured to have a better relationship with their child's father, right? Because I don't want anybody to be out of the life of their child, first of all. This is going to run counter to the narrative that you're going to hear from this trick named Corey Holcomb. The real reason why is because I don't plan on disciplining the child. That is not my child to put my hands on, right? If I'm a stepfather in the situation, see, I'm gonna go into why, but let me just go ahead and finish up my thoughts. I am not the child's father in that situation. I'm not the person who is biologically that child's father, right? I am not going to put my hands on that child. Now, verbally, yeah, I'll do verbal warnings like, hey, stop that, don't do that. I'm going to sit down and have lessons, absolutely. Sit you down and talk to you, you know what I'm saying, and let you know what's going on, and this and the third. Sure. Physical discipline is not my responsibility, not my job. It doesn't even enter my mind, right? It literally doesn't even enter my mind. The only way it enters my mind is, hey, I need you to have a good relationship with your father, with the child's father, because if there's something that happens and I need to either let him know directly what the hell is going on, or tell you to tell him what the hell is going on so he can come over here and discipline his child, then that's what needs to happen, right? That's what the fuck is going on. Like obviously, if discipline, physical discipline ever went to the point of like child abuse, clearly I'm gonna sit down and have a conversation with him, with that person man to man. Like, I'm gonna have a conversation with him and be like, listen, man, you can't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? You can do this, but don't take it to that level, because I don't want to have a situation where the child goes to school or some shit like that with red marks on their face and shit like that, and Child Protective Services are called, because if that's the case, I'm gonna tell the truth in support of the child, right? But at the end of the day, like, this type of shit, like where, or what's called the equivalent of Child Protective Services. But anyways, this type of shit of like fantasizing about being a father is what tricks do. Like, it's what people who have kids, well, I should say deadbeats, but I'm not gonna say that. But it's what people who have kids who really not in the life of their children, know that even if they were in the lives of their children, they would make themselves lousy fathers. So what they do is they trick their ways into the single mother's household by paying her bills, and then they fantasize about being a real father to her children, based off of the fact that they're giving money, right? So I've given enough money to whoop this child. Like, what kind of fantasy are you living? What kind of fucking fantasy are you living? So anyways, like, I personally don't do that. I personally don't feel as though that is something that somebody should fantasize about in any way, shape, fashion, or form. Not only that, but it's like the worst case scenario, right? A co-parenting situation is going to be tumultuous. A co-parenting situation is going to have its difficulties. They're going to have arguments. They're going to have knockdown, drag out arguments at times, right? Lord forbid that child is in a coma, and both of the co-parents have to get together and determine whether or not, or the course of medical treatment in that situation, right? If you want to see real fighting, then that will basically show you exactly what real fighting is, right? But fantasizing about situations like that doesn't, at least for me, doesn't enter into my mind, right? And I've dealt with many a women, many a single parent. I have plenty of single parents that I'm fucking with, you know what I'm saying? Single moms that I'm fucking with, and that doesn't enter my mind like that. Oh, I'm gonna be in a situation where I get to whoop it. I'm not interested in that. Oh, I'm raising this over here. I'm not interested in raising nobody else's child. I'm interested in you having a good, strong co-parenting relationship, because that demonstrates to me that if this condom breaks, or if I'm fucking raw, let's just be real about this shit, and don't pull out quick enough because it's too good, and we end up having a child, I know that your mind is on straight enough to be able to have a good co-parenting relationship with me, in spite of the fact that you're with somebody else. That's what I would want, right? That's what I would want demonstrated, right? Not that you could catch an attitude, not that you could side with me against your child's father, fucking up your co-parenting relationship and your ability to raise a child. And I have to also give Darlene some smoke a little bit for this, because, well, not really, because, you know, if Corey's a trick, then Darlene is on the whole side of things, the sort of the lady of the street side of things, not necessarily selling it, but she's I wouldn't categorize her as a loyal woman, in any way, shape, fashion, or form. But anyways, I still fault her because I still give her the benefit of the doubt, and that she should have stood up and said something to that effect, like, you know, maybe we're gonna hear it during this little thing. Maybe we're gonna hear what the hell she has to say. Maybe I missed it, but I would think that she would step up in the fact that, yeah, there's a good co-parenting relationship that needs to happen, and just because you're paying some fucking bills as a boyfriend doesn't really entitle you to step into that situation, Corey. If you're actually married to the person, that's a different story, right? If you're married to that person, that is a different story. It comes with a large amount of assumptions that hopefully the ex-wife or ex-girlfriend or whoever in this situation has thoroughly vetted that person so that no sexual assault or rape occurs in that household. But that is a different story. That is a completely different story. But even in that situation, you know, I still could hold that person to the exact same standard, right? You know, at the very least, deferring physical discipline of the child to the mother, right? You know, doing everything up to and including, up to physical discipline. Yeah, like talk to the person, put the person on punishment. That doesn't negate the need for discipline in a household. But physical discipline should be left up to the biological parents in the situation. You're going to see a large amount of fuck shit in this back and forth between Marcus the simp and Corey the trick. And then Corey is going to try to flip-flop in this situation, but let's just get to it, right? That's my preface for this situation. So let's just go ahead and get to it. I think it's this one.
Fucking show and talk this shit. Because, goddammit, I got homeboys out here jammed the fuck up on some sucker shit. Niggas getting into fights
Hold on.
with his girl,
In public?
baby daddy. I told him he was in violation. This is my nigga. I told him he was in violation.
Well, I don't know
Marcus,
what
Darlene, let me ask y'all something.
Please.
So I want your opinion, especially Marcus, by him being a man. If you messing with a girl and the girl baby daddy really don't do shit for the baby, do you have any right at all to say something to him?
No, you don't have any right at all to say anything to him. You are in the household to fuck the bitch. Concentrate on fucking the bitch. That, like, literally, that, again, I'm speaking with a bitch in the other room. Your job is to fuck the bitch, okay? That is your only fucking job. Your job is not to try to get into that situation between that mother and the child's father, because you don't know whether or not that cunt is just keeping away or playing keep away with the child to fuck up to fuck up the head of the man who's not there, right? You don't know what the fuck he doing. He could have sent a check for $1,500 and you don't know shit about it because your only source of information about the shit is the bitch you fucking. Like, your job should be on fucking and dicking down the bitch, not on dynamics with the child. So that's violation number one on your side of even theorizing in this manner.
About
You mean the
not
new guy?
doing nothing?
The new person?
The new guy. Cause like my homeboy, he got into it with the baby daddy. And I asked him why. He was like, man, dude don't do nothing for his motherfucking son.
That's not your fucking business. Your job is to encourage a good co-parenting relationship between the bitch you fucking and the child's father. Beyond that, your role is to step out of the situation entirely. Your role is to step out of. I don't even much give a fuck if the man calls your woman a bitch. If he's been with that bitch for longer than you, then maybe she's a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she's a downright dirty ass, a disgusting ass, stab a nigga in the back ass bitch, and you haven't been around long enough to realize that he's saying that she's a bitch for a reason. Like, if that man has been with that bitch and he has a child by her, you just need to stay the fuck out of that situation entirely, up to and including trying to quote unquote defend your woman. You shouldn't have shit to say. Your job literally should be, hey, I'm just here. You know what I'm saying? I have no opinion on this situation. I'm just here, you know what I'm saying, to support her, and that's it. That's all I'm here for. You know why you should be like that? Because if the child's father needs to offload some shit to you, maybe needs to talk to you about some shit, that actually is very useful, right? If that person needs to have a conversation with you to offload some shit, hey, you could possibly find out that you're dealing with an ain't shit bitch a lot quicker than not. That's first of all. But second of all, you know what I'm saying? You're helping with that co-parenting or potentially co-parenting situation. You know what I'm saying? That's not some simp shit. Yeah, your job is to fuck the bitch. That is the only relationship you actually have. You don't have a relationship with that child. You only have a relationship with that child because you are fucking that bitch and she's allowing you to be around her child. The only real permanent relationship that child has is to her father. And if you want to be in competition with that, here's the good way of doing that. Marry the bitch. So if your friend is not married, he should have his mouth completely the fuck closed. I don't give a fuck what he does. His mouth should be closed.
Man, that motherfucker woo woo woo. D, what you think?
I was saying she picked him as a dad for her to have a kid with.
Exactly. So he must
why
be
isn't she checking him?
Listen, at the end of the day, if she let him in the pussy raw, or the condom broke and she didn't take her ass to go get an emergency pill, a plan B, to make sure that there was no pregnancy that actually occurred, then I guess he ain't that much of a ain't shit nigga in the first place. Or if he is, then it means that she's an ain't shit bitch. And maybe you should think about that. Instead of putting yourself in the dynamic, why don't you back up Corey and Corey's friend and ask yourself, well, she's saying he ain't shit, and he's possibly demonstrating that she ain't shit by the fact that they're not together, and she still had his child. So why am I with an ain't shit bitch? Is what you should be asking yourself. Not putting yourself in the middle of a situation that you may not know what the fuck you're talking about.
I mean,
Man, listen.
and now he's picking
Wait,
her.
let's see.
Go ahead.
No, that's all you got to say.
No, I'm just saying.
I want to
it's
make
just-
sure you got it off.
He's upset at the wrong person. I mean, he has. I hear that he can. Anybody can get in their feelings and be like, "Wow, you ain't even taking care of your kid." However, he is dating this same woman, so she
Exactly.
did choose that guy. So what does that say about?
He said that he just can't stand to see the way that.
Look, wait. Let's not gloss over that, Corey. Let's go ahead and complete these thoughts. Well, if he's an ain't shit dude and he fucked her raw and she had his child and had his seed and had his legacy and carried the shit to term and is currently taking care of that fucker, then what does that mean about him? That means that she picks ain't shit dudes, and if she's with him, then maybe she's an ain't shit, maybe he's an ain't shit dude right along with the dude that's not in his child's life. And maybe she's doing something that if they ever broke up and he had a child by her, that would make him and put him in the exact same situation. Because here's the deal. If she was a decent woman, it wouldn't matter if their relationship fucked up. They would still have a good relationship when it comes down to their child. That's what the reality of the situation is. If they were two decent people who chose decently, but their relationship just went its separate ways, okay. But if you have an ain't shit person over here, then the ain't shit person over there is an ain't shit person too.
Dude don't do right by his son.
Sure, I can relate
and
to
all
that, but-
shit. Right.
Okay.
Marcus, what you think about that?
None of that. I wouldn't give a goddamn. You need to go. Let me tell you something. When I get your baby mama, if I want her and I'm keeping her, you need to be out of life any goddamn.
There you go. There's that simp moniker right there. Marcus is a goddamn simp. He's never had a child before in his goddamn life, obviously. And at the end of the day, like what just came out of his goddamn mouth is the stupidest shit ever, nigga. Oh, well, if I get a bitch and she got a kid, well, if she with me, he need to be completely out of her goddamn life. You stupid motherfucker. You stupid motherfucker. Right? So if you have a child, you gonna do the same thing? You're gonna expect the same thing? Let's say you have a child by somebody, Marcus. Let's say you're in that child's life for like 4, 5, or 6 years. Let's say that relationship, whatever the fuck relationship you're in, that relationship ends. And you have a good, strong bond with that child. And then all of a sudden, she decides to divorce you or leave you and take that child with her and then use the courts in order to keep you away from your child after you have a very strong bond with your child. I'm not talking about a bond of 1 or 2 years, something that got broken or something like that. No, I'm talking about 6, 7 years where it's very clear, very strong, very tight bond with that child. Are you going to be accepting of your girlfriend or ex-wife getting with somebody who has that same fucking attitude, you simp motherfucker? Clearly not. Clearly not, you stupid simp motherfucker. Well, if I get with a bitch, she better not be with anybody. I don't give a fuck she have a child. That's my child now. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You sound like a goddamn simp.
Way. I don't need you there. No fucking way.
Yeah, but she got no choice if they got.
It's not about whether or not you need her there or need that person there. It's whether or not the child needs that person in their life. Jackass.
Kid together. What
Well,
you
I'm
gonna
saying.
do?
Oh, that's deep what D said. You ain't got no choice, but go ahead. No, I'm saying like that's deep what you said. Like, go
But
ahead.
if he not doing, you just say he ain't doing nothing for him.
Okay, and
If
then
he ain't
she-
doing nothing for him, keep your ugly ass out here. I'm doing something for him.
No, stupid motherfucker. You need to actually encourage that relationship. That's your job. That's your only simple job. Your job is not to raise a child. Your job is not to pay for this and pay for that. Your job is not to be paying for school. Your job is not to be paying for doctor's visits. Your job is not to be paying for any of that shit. Your job is not to be doing that. I do not do that. I do not do that. Right? At the end of the day, your job is to fuck the bitch, have a relationship with the bitch, and determine whether or not you want to keep on having a relationship with the bitch. That is your only fucking job. Your job is not play daddy with anybody. If you want to play daddy, the best way for you to do that is to marry the bitch that you with. But a large amount of what Marcus is talking about is not in the confines of a marriage. What he's really talking about is in the confines of a boyfriend, girlfriend, kicking it together, but y'all could break up in like 6 months type bullshit. but he feels as though just because I made her my girlfriend officially, the developmental stages of the child come second to my ego as a bitch ass man in a boyfriend girlfriend type relationship. Like, get the fuck out of here, Marcus. You clearly are young as fuck by saying some stupid shit like that. You clearly are young as fuck.
This my boy now. What is you talking about?
Did you say this is my boy now?
But this my boy now.
Listen.
Listen, and the other thing, Marcus, I'm gonna tell you is that a large amount of like pariah ass bitches heard you say that, nigga. A lot of pariah ass, demon ass, dirtbag ass bitches heard you say that, my dude. And Karma is a bitch in a blue dress, my nigga. Karma is a bitch in a blue dress, my nigga. Those bitches heard you say that shit, right? Those bitches heard you say that shit. So you gonna get what you want. You gonna get what you want. You gonna be one of them stupid motherfuckers that develop this huge bond with the child as a boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? Be with the bitch all the time, and she gonna suck your little ass dry. You gonna get down on one knee to propose to this bitch, and she gonna say no, or she gonna say yeah, and then you gonna find out she gonna say yeah, but really, what she's gonna do is allow you to find out that she fucking somebody, so that relationship ends, and then your relationship with that child is gonna be severed. That's what you're setting yourself up for. That is the simplest shit you could possibly come out of your goddamn mouth. Shut the fuck up.
Catch 22, because do you want her? And in that case, it's a catch.
That's if I fuck with her like that.
Like that, though.
But
See,
if
that's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
fuck with her like that, I don't give a damn about that.
Then how does your opinion matter? I don't give a damn. So we're not talking about the child's father. We're actually talking about the relationship with the child and its father. The whole purpose of the child, of the child's father having any sort of debatable right or non-right in the life of the child is whether or not that's beneficial to the child, right? We're not talking about whether or not it's beneficial to him, the child's father. It's whether or not it's beneficial to the child. Stupid motherfucker. So if you're blasé about the shit, if it's like, well, if I don't fuck with her, then I don't really give a fuck what happens with that relationship with the child's father, then you should just shut the fuck up, period, then, nigga. You should, your type of simpness, just fuck the bitch, man. Just fuck the bitch. Is she fucking her child's father? Most likely. Most likely with a nigga like Marcus, she's telling you all sorts of type of bullshit, getting you on your Rambo, and then what she's doing is taking her little pussy and letting him fuck the living dog shit out of her after they argue about some stupid shit. Trust me, I know that type of shit happens. Trust me, I know that type of shit happens. Okay? I know for a fact that type of shit happens. Oh, y'all, you think that they arguing and some shit. Oh, yeah, fuck you, bitch, and fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And the nigga dicking her down after that shit is all said and done. Trust me, I know that shit happens. So you thinking, oh, well, he must be a horrible person. And the baby mama just doing that because the baby daddy pissed off that you in the life. He's still fucking her, but he's really pissed off that you in her life. And she using it as a means of getting some sort of sexual gratification out of your stupid ass. And getting extra money that her ain't shit ass can't get from her ain't shit baby daddy. So she's using the fact that you have some sort of emotional attachment to her, and that you upset that he ain't shit, and they both running the game on your simp ass. And she like, well, yeah, come over and argue with me real quick so I can go ahead and get this money from this motherfucker for this field trip for our daughter. Okay, I'll be over there. Come get some. I try to get a car out of him. You know what I'm saying? Come say something about the car that I'm in so he'll get me a van. I'm trying to get a new van out of him. Come over here and argue and say something about the van so he'll get enough. You need to realize, Marcus, whether they talk or not, they were fucking way before you, nigga. They had a relationship way before you, nigga. They gonna have a relationship for the rest of their lives, nigga. Whether you come or you go, whether they even talk to each other or not, they gonna have a relationship for the rest of their lives. Now, if they're stupid, either both or one party is actually fucking up that relationship. That's gonna be a lifelong relationship. That's a stupid thing to do. But you ignoring the fact that they're going to have a long-term, lifelong relationship that's not even comparable to the boyfriend girlfriend theoretical relationship that you're talking about is stupid. It shows that you're a fucking young ass Similac around your goddamn mouth, young ass boy. Okay, you young ass boy. I won't even call you a simp. A young ass boy with these simp chivalrous ideas of a standard relationship or of an ideal relationship of some sort of hyper masculinity that doesn't actually exist, you stupid fuck. If the bitch is not having a healthy co-parenting relationship with the nigga before you, she ain't gonna have a healthy co-parenting relationship with you, dumbass. Maybe it's a good idea for you to just, if this is my fucking thing, if she has a bad relationship with the child's father, first of all, hitting raw is out of the question. I don't give a damn if we have tests. That hitting raw is out of the question. That's number one. That's the number one. I'm gonna have this is a conversation for grown ass men right now. I normally get tests done. I get the other person's tests done. Okay, before any raw action occurs. But that is completely off the table. If this person does not have a good relationship with their child's father, period. That takes, we fucking with a condom, because at the end of the day, if I put a child in you, I should expect no more, no better than your previous relationship with your previous child's father or fathers, right? If you don't have good relationship with him or them, you ain't gonna have no good relationship with me, and therefore, I'm gonna keep this shit wrapped up. I'm just gonna fuck. I'm gonna be basically a listening case for you when it comes down to your child, and you just a background ass bitch. Like, I'm not even gonna take you seriously like that. You just a trophy on my wall and a notch on my belt, and that's it. And I'm just gonna keep it rolling, right? Only way I can take you anywhere remotely seriously is if you have a good relationship with your child's father. Period. But young ass bitches like Marcus with Similac around his goddamn mouth doesn't understand that he's on some macho man Randy Savage ass bullshit. Whoa, I'm gonna take over everything. Shut your bitch ass up.
Shit, he ain't doing that for it.
But don't guys usually?
You better.
No, I'm saying, like, sometimes you could be around a kid and the kid might be cool. And does it justify?
Corey, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I really don't think you should be around anybody's kid, to be honest. You know, all jokes aside, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's a difference when you have comedy and you drift from comedy to commentary, right? Comedy, you're talking about your perspective and making jokes out of your perspective that may be relatable to other people. Commentary is when you're trying to direct other people in what they should and should not do. You should not be doing that. And if I have to be really realistically, like, taking out of a joking context, I wouldn't want you around my children. Period. I wouldn't want you around anybody. I wouldn't want you around. No. Like, with the bullshit that comes out of your mouth, I wouldn't want you around a child. So at the end of the day, like, you know, what you're flapping, the gums that you're flapping, like, dude, I would, yeah, you're failing right now for me.
You step into that man about him not being no motherfucking stand-up nigga?
No, if you're real concerned,
No.
why
I
don't you
don't
throw
care
him a
about
couple
that
bones?
nigga. That nigga is not a
Say
factor.
it again, Marky.
I don't care about that nigga. That nigga is not a factor in this situation.
No,
He
but
is a
wouldn't you
fact.
have
I don't
some
need
compassion
your
for the
help, nigga.
kid?
It's not about whether or not you need the help, dumbass. It's about whether or not the child needs the child's father in their lives. Let me, I have to do this. I used to previously do this on my previous stuff. Let me do this. Let me come over here. And let me find something. Let me actually do it like this. This is why. Like, you're such a young ass motherfucker, man. You're such a young ass motherfucker. Let me go ahead and read this for the umpteenth thousandth time. Hold on. Thing is acting crazy. Zoom in and voila. So hopefully y'all can see this. Here with it. Zoom out. There we go. So the nigger marriage. So this is 2 paragraphs from Willie Lynch back in the like 1700s, 1800s. This is basically formulas to enslave Africans mentally for multiple generations. This is Marcus, you stupid young ass boy. Pay attention. Class is in session. The nigger marriage. We breed 2 nigger males with 2 nigger females. Then we take the nigger males away from them and keep them moving and working. Say one nigger female bears a nigger Say one nigger female bears a nigger female and the other bears a nigger male. Both nigger females being without influence of the nigger male image, frozen with an independent psychology, will raise their offsprings into reverse positions. So what that means is if they have a male, they'll try to make the male effeminate. If they have a female, they will have the female be masculine. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable. We negotiate with her, through her, by her. We negotiate her at will. Meaning negotiate, really, you could substitute that word for manipulate. The one with the nigger male offspring, she being frozen with a subconscious fear for his life, will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body over mind. And right now, Marcus, you're failing to think, you stupid motherfucker, about the situation that you're just spouting off about. But physically strong. In other words, body over mind. Now, in a few years, when these 2 offspring become fertile for early reproduction, we will mate and breed them. This is the chattel slavery part. And continue the cycle. This is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive planning. Hear that, Marcus? So the reason why the child's father being in the life of the child, specifically if we're talking about black people, is because it breaks that cycle, Marcus. The very first thing that a white supremacist needs to do in order to truly affect and keep a cycle of oppression going in the black community, or more specifically, the descendants of American slave community, is to break up the family. And so what we should be encouraging in all levels is a good, healthy co-parenting situation as a substitute to that. That's what we should be encouraging. But what you're doing is you're being another little robot of Willie Lynch, and where that relationship possibly could be repaired through a co-parenting situation, your dumb, programmed ass, simp ass is injecting yourself into the situation as a means of creating more chaos, so that the child, the target of the racism, systemic and institutional, so that the child continues the cycle of a parentless household, right? And being a statistic so far as depression, so far as poverty, so far as drug use, so far as suicide rates, so far as all the other things that they are subjected to statistically, from just simply, no matter if he's a deadbeat or not, just simply having their child's father in their lives changes those statistics positively upward. It doesn't matter if he's a great father or a bad father, so long as he's not sexually molesting a child, clearly, or physically abusing a child, or verbally abusing a child, so long as those things are not occurring, right? Just the presence of the father, and so long as he's not demonstrating or modeling addictive behavior like drug use or alcoholism. There's a lot of dramatic caveats to that, but there needs to be. But so long as all those things are not a factor, which could be a factor with the new boyfriend, by the way, so long as those things are not a factor, just the presence of a father, in a child's life improves those statistics astronomically, right? That's the reason why the child being the father being in the life of the child is important. It may not be important to you, Marcus, the simp, but it is important to the child. It has nothing to do with you and whether or not you could do X, Y, Z. What you're trying to talk about again is you're talking about it from a standpoint of a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. The dynamic does change if you get married to that person. There is a certain level of respect that that child's father does need to coffer to the child's to the wife's new husband. However, not fully, right? Not fully. Regardless, those rights to the child are still intact by the child's father and should be respected. What it really should be, again, is you should have it as a requirement of that woman with the child in a previously fucked up situation, and a bad credit report, as it were, with her past relationships. What you should do is maintain a good relationship and require her to have a good relationship with the child's father as a prerequisite before you get married, right? That's the other thing you should be doing, right? So Marcus seems to be the type of motherfucker that would, like, on the one side, he's talking all this bullshit, but I think on the other side, Marcus would be the type of motherfucker to be like, yeah, you need to put him on child support. You need to put him on child support. Go ahead and get that nigga arrested. Yeah, go ahead and get that nigga arrested. He needs to pay this. No, if you can get more, go ahead and get more. On the one side, he's this, but this same energy could be flipped on the other side. He's a simp-ass motherfucker, like, honestly.
Well, then there you go.
What did you say, D?
I said, don't you have any kind of compassion for the kid, like his plight? Like, okay, and if you care for his mom like that, then go out of your way and do a few things yourself for the kid. But to say something to the dude, what is she doing about it?
Exactly. That's her job.
I mean, like, I'm gonna give y'all the game. Because I said this on my show, and it was motherfuckers out there acting like Corey don't know what he talking about.
You don't.
But listen to me. Once again, it take 2 years to vet your bro. Whenever you meet a new woman, it take about 2 years.
So this is a little bit backtracking, right? He's trying to say that, or he's trying to use this as a backtrack to say, well, you need to evaluate the relationship beforehand and this and the third, but whatever. It doesn't really fit with what he's talking about. He's just saying some shit.
To get her where she supposed to be. Some niggas was like, no, it don't take that long. No, nigga. It take about 2 years. I'm talking about if there's somebody who you really trying to be with.
Yeah, you want to go through some things with them, some holidays,
That's what I'm saying. They to my Marcus Simp. Shut up. Hey, so
it take about 2 years to get your bro where you need your bro to be mentally. Damn, we lost it.
That sounds like a good little profound thing that you think is coming from a very informed place, but really it's not. It's some old ism bullshit, right? You can't change a person, right? I'm gonna tell you that straight up. You can think that you changing a bitch, and she can act like she, again, this is what a bitch in the other fucking room. Okay, you could think that you're changing a bitch. You could think that you're doing this and that and the third. A bitch is gonna be the same bitch that you was with her in the beginning. She gonna be the same bitch when you leave her. All this, well, she gonna change. You ain't gonna get her nowhere. You ain't gonna get her nowhere. She ain't gonna change her. The only thing you could do is use narcissistic gaslighting to try to form an addiction to her. You know what I'm saying? Or to have her form an addiction to you and use that addiction for manipulation. That's about the only thing you could do to a woman, like, in order to quote unquote change her behaviors. But typically, if she has ain't shit qualities, those ain't shit qualities gonna continue to be there.
No,
Okay,
there we go. Uh-oh, it's flashing.
Must
it's
be
a connection.
Short.
It's a connection.
We gotta. The show ain't out though, is it?
No.
Okay, this is what I'm saying.
There it is. Back up.
Somebody say a year at least, year and a half. Yeah, it take 2 years to get your bro on the tracks of life.
See, what's really going on is Marcus said some really, 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 really simp shit. And so Corey is trying to basically use some sort of like analogy or some sort of advice, some sort of sage advice to put himself back on track as being the thought leader in this conversation, right? Like, well, maybe he's coming up with some hard ass evidence right now. Maybe he's coming up with some hard evidence right now I don't know what his evidence is. I don't know where he came to this number, but hey, he knows a large amount about relationships. Must be if he's throwing out that specific figure. Nigga, whatever. Your boy just said some simp ass shit, and you failed to check his ass. And it actually stains everything that you're about to say, but you're going to try to continue saying it because you wanted to say something controversial in order to get your numbers up, but I guess it's not really working. But go ahead and continue, nigga.
That you need her on for y'all to make it. Now, during this, what Marcus said, I agree. If I'm really with you, I'm going to tell you, don't sweat no nigga about nothing if you my bro.
That ain't your job, dumbass. It's not about money, dumbass. It's about a relationship between the child and the child's father. Excuse me, yeah, it's the child and the child's father. That's what it's about. It's not about no fucking money. It's not about you coming in after meeting a dirty bitch at a comedy club and you fucking the dog shit out of her for 4 months. And then she around about month 5, she let you see the kids, and now all of a sudden you feel as though just because you bought a goddamn bicycle for the birthday party that the child's father was not even invited to, now all of a sudden you running shit. Like, that's not what the fuck is going on. And I got enough money for you not to sweat that nigga for shit. It's not about sweating him for shit, dumbass. It's about whether or not he's going to be in the life of the child. That's what it's about, dumbass. And sometimes you do need to sweat a person in order for that to occur. Sometimes people do need to be checked a little bit when it comes down to that. Like, hey, no matter what the hell you got going on, you need to make sure you show up to this game. You need to make sure that you show up to this dance. You need to make sure you show up for this project. You need to make sure you answer the phone when they call. Like, that's not sweating them. That is the person holding their other co-parent accountable. But if you've never had a co-parenting relationship, then I guess you wouldn't know what the fuck I'm talking about there, Corey. But you're saying some bullshit again to make it seem like you're in the pimp shit. Well, Corey's the type of person where he has enough financial capacity to be able to pay for the chip. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh, you need this? There you go. Shut the fuck up. It's not about that. It's not about whether or not you are exactly. Bitch in the other room. Anyways, it's not about whether or not you are doing anything, you know what I'm saying, for her financially. It has nothing to do with that. It's about the psyche and the upbringing of a child. And a nigga who's only a trick like you, who's only thinking about the money you spend on a bitch, and thinking that the money that you spend on a bitch gives you rights and privileges in her life, I'm not shocked that you don't think that tricking doesn't stop at the level of fucking around with her child or having a say-so in her child's life. It seems like you feel as though that tricking gives you rights to be able to say something about the child's upbringing as well. Like, it's kind of fucked up.
If you my bro, I don't want you sweating no nigga about nothing. If I take you on, I take on what you come with. That mean them little fuckers you kept.
All right.
If you my
That's what I'm saying. So how is this bitch ass nigga who's talking about children and labeling them as the fuckers you kept? How is this fuck ass, trick ass nigga able to even say some shit about a potential co-parenting situation? And what type of bum ass, busted ass, downtrodden ass bitches is he fucking that allows this trick ass nigga to say some shit like that about their fucking kids and still have some say so about who the fuck is in the life of their children? I'm literally talking to the bitches who are allowing this trick ass nigga to fuck them right now. If you are a bitch who is allowing Corey Holcomb to fuck you and you have children, he just referred to your children as what? The fuckers you kept?
If I take you on, I take on what you come with. That mean them little fuckers you kept.
There you go. So why the fuck is this bitch ass, trick ass nigga having anything to say about the topic? There you go. I'm talking about larger dynamics, the statistics of suicide, dependency, substance abuse dependency, performance in high school and in college, their poverty levels when they get out. All of those are affected by just simply having. You can have, I've seen it very, very. Oh, hold on one second. There we go. Sorry about that. But I've seen it to where you could have even a judge and a judge raising a child. That doesn't mean that child is coming out right. That doesn't mean anything. You can have a person who's a professional, who has enough socioeconomic money to be able to raise that child, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't mean that child is coming out right. Single parent household doesn't mean that child is coming out right. They are still subjected to those same, they are still subject to being a statistic regardless of their socioeconomic background. So what the fuck are you talking about, Corey? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? How are you even able to enter yourself into this conversation? We're talking about the child. You're talking about slinging your dick around in front of the little rusty, musty, trifling ass Section 8 bus riding ass bitch that you fucking. Okay? Clearly, you're not trying to elevate this bitch on any level, shape, fashion, or form. Right? And you think of their children as the fuckers you kept. So, as a penance for him, blessing his bum ass bitches with his busted ass dick, he feels as though he should have some say in the life of their children as it relates to his personal comfort. The fuck out of here.
All right.
If you my real bro, I take on all that shit. And we ain't begging no nigga for nothing.
Right. If he wants to add.
It's not about we, you stupid son of a bitch. It's about the child. It's about the child in the situation, you stupid son of a bitch. Has nothing to do with you or the funky little bitch you fucking. Okay? It's not about you or the funky little bitch you fucking. It's about the child in the situation and whether or not that child is going to be better off having a relationship with their father. And every single study and every single statistic says that, again, with all that lengthy exceptions, there are lengthy exceptions when you're talking about children. With that lengthy list of exceptions to the rule, so far as substance abuse, sexual assault, verbal abuse, mental abuse, all those things, if that's not occurring, right? Modeling negative behavior or self-harm behavior, if all of that is not occurring, the simple fact that a child is that a child has its father in their lives increases the positive statistic of that child's upbringing. Corey, you know, them little fuckers is what it's all about, not you and the funky bitch you fucking. Stupid son of a bitch.
Had his own little chips and
Hey,
cheese, whatever torture.
Hey, let me show y'all full of shit the chat room is.
What they
I
say?
said that shit. I was all kinds of simp. Corey said that shit. Yeah, right. That's right, Corey.
No, but I'm saying no.
Because they dick suckers. That's all. That's all. You heard right there, Marcus. What you said was simp shit, and what Corey said was very similar to the bullshit that came out of your mouth. You made that 100% connection. Now let's connect the both of them together. They both were simp ass statements that came out of your fucking mouths.
No, Marcus, it's the way you said it. You said it like woo, woo, woo. But I'm saying, when I got married, my wife had a daughter. I promise you, I swear to God, I told her, leave that nigga alone. That nigga got I think he had about 7 kids.
Ooh, stop.
I explained to her.
Wait a minute. So your wife was one of the bitches who threw her legs open to let a nigga with 6 kids at the time fuck her to have another child, and you decided to wife her even though she didn't already have a very good relationship with the child's father. I'm going to say, number one, well, I already know, shocker, that that marriage isn't really working out for you very much right now. And then number two, I can guarantee you that there's probably problems with that daughter. I would wager a guess. I don't know, but I would wager a guess that there are several problems with her upbringing. If she did not have a very good relationship with her actual biological father. All right? But yeah.
That nigga game was good enough to get what he got up out of you at the time when you was out there in the streets without a motherfucking leader.
Take your kid and keep it pushing, yeah.
Don't be calling no motherfucking nigga if you my broad about.
Let me ask you this question there, Corey. I guarantee you that that's probably a cycle. I guarantee you that your wife probably didn't come from a 2-parent household, and that's probably the reason why her legs were open out there in them streets to catch nut from a nigga who already had 6 other kids. I guarantee you that's probably what happened. I could at least suppose that that's the case. Do a supposition that that's the case. That it's a cycle that she went through. You know, like the cycle that you're trying to encourage.
Nothing. This us.
Well, if they don't already have something established, what's going on for real? Like
I'm
at
saying
this
sometimes
point,
you take on a broke bro. It's all part of life.
right, but I'm just
that
saying, if she already
friendship.
has a child, say 2, 3, 4 years old, whatever.
Y'all grown, you knew the deal.
Well,
he
when
was
you
right.
dating somebody, right? You meet somebody.
I'm
it's
saying
like,
if this your bro, if this the girl that you motherfucking
Stop.
feel like is
No, fuck all that. Corey, you're a trick, nigga. I don't give a damn about, it's your broad. Nigga, there is nothing that gives you right to somebody else's child. You know, the only thing that gives you rights to somebody else's child, the only real scenario where this actually comes up is if the child's father is dead and you decide to adopt the child. That's a completely different story. But it negates what you're talking about because the child's father is passed away. That is the only scenario where your trick logic actually applies. Like, stop this shit, man.
a woman for real.
right.
You gotta take on her whole get down. That's why some of you niggas ain't got no business taking on no girl who got a ready-made family because
Yeah,
you
it's
ain't
tough.
ready for it.
Like what? Now he's trying to flip the script. He's been a bitch about being a man who takes on a family like that, by not realizing that a relationship is gonna have to continue with the child's father in that situation, which is a much tougher thing to deal with there, Corey. In the situation where you take on a ready-made family, is what you call it. I don't think of it as a ready-made family. I think of it as a broken home. You don't realize that that's what you're also taking on. You're taking on the plight of the fact that she's always going to have a relationship with that person, and that relationship needs to be healthy and for the child. Corey and Marcus are the type of motherfuckers that just because they're dominating the pussy or just because they're fucking the bitch at the time they fucking them, they feel as though they should have all the things. They don't want children as a sense of responsibility. They want the children as a sense of a point of control, right? I want to make sure I am controlling this bitch because I'm the one who is controlling the relationship with the children, right? And the child's father, because they can get together all they want to after I'm done fucking her, right? They can get together all they want to after our relationship is over. I don't care. I don't give a fuck how much time the child misses out of their father's. The father misses out of their child's life. They'll get the child, these fuckers that she decided to keep, and this bitch when I'm done with her, type shit. That's really what you're talking about. But then you want to elevate it to where, well, you're not man enough if you can't deal with this type of situation. Well, nigga, what are you talking about? The situation is maintaining a healthy home for children. That's what it's about. It's not about you fucking the bitch. right? Meaning, if your relationship is bad for the children, then you need to leave as well. Everything could be good between y'all, but if y'all have a bad relationship with, if you have a bad relationship with the children, that's when you should decide to yourself, okay, well, I can't continue to stay in this relationship because I'm having a bad influence on the children, right? That's a part of it as well. But you're trying to elevate, you're trying to put yourself in a situation where you're like a sage in the situation, but you're just a trick. You're just a trick. And speaking from a trick's mind and trying to flip flop, they're trying to make yourself seem like a person who's giving sage advice. You're not, nigga. You're not. I've been out here in these streets for quite some time. I know these bitches left and right too. You ain't giving no fucking advice, my dude. You ain't giving shit. You ain't giving shit. You just excusing bitch-like behaviors from bitch-ass motherfuckers. And we can make links to this type of behavior and, you know what I'm saying, the raping type of situation that occurs. Because, you know what I'm saying, there was a situation in the past where, you know what I'm saying, one of my ex-wife's family members was accused of some shit. It was accused of some shit. All right? I put two and two together about what the fuck they was talking about. I didn't really know at the time because they tried to hide the shit. It was accused of some shit. Like this type of possessive behavior, it, for me, throws up flags of you touching some kids. Not you specifically, but of somebody having the same sort of thought process. It's sort of too possessive. You're not thinking about the interest of the child. You're thinking of the child as a possession. And, you know what I'm saying, it's not a very large leap for me to take that type of mindset and have questions about whether or not, you know what I'm saying, something else is occurring. So at the end of the day, this is sending up all sorts of red flags to me. You know what I'm saying? This type of thought process. And anybody who would have this type of thought process, these same red flags would be flying for me. These same questions would be formulating in my skull. These same sort of like, nigga, what are you talking about? Have you ever actually raised a child? Have you ever actually had a co-parenting situation? Like, do you know what that dynamic is like? Like, you're just speaking out of the side of your goddamn neck.
Yeah.
If you depending on the next nigga cheese, dog, your girl gonna see that. And that's a sign of weakness. Did that nigga pay his child support this month? Because we need that money.
Now, I think it would be.
Nobody, I don't know of any man with a dick between his legs who would say some shit like that. I couldn't even conceive of somebody making a statement like, did another man pay his child support? Like, is that the AB? Is that the hot cold? Is that the opposites of what you're talking about? Like, I either have to be a dumbass, simp-ass motherfucker who interrupts the relationship of the child and the child's father, or I have to be some sort of opportunistic manipulator to the point where I am depending on whether or not another man pays child support to support the household with his child in it. Like, is that the dichotomy? Like, that's pathetic that you're thinking so limited in such a limited manner.
It would be pretty messed up if you dating a girl and then she's continually complaining that, you know, oh her shit's all messed up with the baby daddy or whatever. But then again, like I said, that is her place. She should have had all that.
Like I say, it take a girl.
Let me finish the statement that Darlene was about to say. She should have had all that cleaned up and had a good co-parenting relationship with the child's father before she decided to spread her legs to a bitch-ass nigga like Corey Holcomb or anybody else. She should have had, a single mother has no place, right? Having a dating or a single mother has no place dating, period. Period. A female co-parent has the right to date. Like, if you are a co-parent and you have a good relationship with the child's father, then you have the capacity to date bitch-ass niggas like Corey Holcomb and Marcus and simp-ass motherfuckers like Marcus all the fuck you want to. Because you have a good co-parenting relationship with the child's father first, which is the most important thing for you to have for the safety and well-being of your child. If you have that together, of course, go date all the fuck you want to. That's what Darlene was about to say, that she should have already had that shit fixed and regulated before she even had a fucking dating relationship in the first place.
Like I say, it take 2 years to vet your bro.
And then he has to
So
go
you
back
know
trying
what
to
you-
make
you
himself
know what
seem
you-
We
like a,
not. I'm
an
saying
instructor.
like if you a real player ass nigga, we ain't depending on what no other nigga doing. If you my
No, if you a real play ass nigga, then what you would do is require that if a bitch is around you, she's gonna handle her own shit. Or I'm sorry, is pimping about you going out and fucking the trick in exchange for the money, or is pimping about making sure that the bitch goes out and fucks the trick for the money, right? If you're a player or a pimp about the shit, then what you would do is make the woman go handle her own shit if she didn't already do it. That's what you would be doing. You wouldn't be doing the job for her or trying to do the job for her. That's not pimp shit. That's bitch shit. That's hoe shit. Right? So pimp shit would be, bitch, you need to handle your shit. You need to handle your relationship. You need to handle this. You need to handle that. You need to handle your shit. Not my job to handle this. Not my job to handle that. Not my job to handle this. Not my job to handle that. You need to handle your shit. Simple. You don't want to handle your shit, I can't fuck with you. Other than just fucking you. I can't do anything. You can't even have an opportunity to be my main bitch or my main broad because I don't want to have that drama around me. Fix your relationship with your ex-husband or ex-boyfriend or whoever you spread your legs open for this child. Fix that relationship and then we could be something. That's pimp shit. Fuck out of here.
my girl.
At all.
If you got the nigga, I told my baby mama, fuck that nigga and the court. I mean, not my baby mama, my wife. I told her, leave that nigga alone.
Why did you marry
You
the bitch
fucking
in the
with
first
me?
place? First of all, I wouldn't marry a bitch who had a child by another nigga who had 7 kids. Like that bitch would. I don't give a fuck how sweet she is. I don't give a fuck how good she fuck. I don't give a fuck whether or not she cooked very well. If she had a child by a nigga with 7 kids, oh, we blacked out again. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. We blacked out again. But if she had a child by a nigga with 6 other kids, we ain't fucking around with it. All you are is pussy to me. I'm staying out of your situation with your child. I'm staying out of your situation with your child's father. I'll listen. I'll hear about it. But all you are is pussy to me. That's player shit there, Corey. That's pimp shit. That's real player shit. That's recognizing the game. That's recognizing the game. But what you did was you wifed the bitch like that. Now you're trying to prescribe to give out relationship advice to other people. Like, I would never sink that low to marry a bitch like that in the fucking first place. Like, honestly, I wouldn't. But that's you. That's you, nigga.
Okay, now this back when I was scraping. But I still was like, we ain't chasing no nigga cheese. If the nigga don't want to be there for his child, that's on him. You can't make no nigga want to come see his child. If that nigga see me with you, he not gonna even give a fuck about your baby no more. When a woman with a real nigga, that other nigga.
You ain't a real nigga if you decided to fuck a bitch who fucked a nigga who had 6 kids. You ain't a real nigga if you decided to wife a bitch like that if she didn't already have her situation fixed with her child's father. You ain't a real nigga. A bitch couldn't come to me like that. If a bitch wanted to even be with me like that, she would have to have her relationship completely fixed with the child's father, period. 100%. You can't come to me with no shit like that. I can't do nothing with that. All you are is pussy to me. Don't tell me about your child. I don't even much want to hear about your kids in that situation. I don't want to hear about your child's father or your kids. Bitch, we just fucking. We could be fucking for a year, for 2 years, for 3. It don't matter. If you got a fucked up relationship with your child's father, bitch, you are just temporary. And I am not speaking from lack of experience with what I just fucking said. Okay? I am not speaking from lack of experience for what the fuck I just said. I have a bitch that I've been fucking around with for 3 fucking years, but she refuses to rectify the situation with her child's father, and she's been an on again, off again hoe as a result. Simple as that. There ain't nothing I could do. I'm not going to take you seriously if you can't take your children seriously. What if a man comes into a situation, and let me just counter this weird bullshit narrative that's coming out of Corey's mouth with a better scenario. So imagine that you're talking to a woman and she's a co-parent. She's not a single mother. A co-parent is not a single mother. All right, a single mother is a single mother by choice. Not a co-parent is a co-parent. A co-parent is a person who has both the other parent in the life of the child, and when they do that together. There's no such a single parent or a single mother is a single mother because they refuse to be a co-parent, right? So imagine she's a co-parent, and on the first day she's telling you like, hey, you know what I'm saying? The biggest thing for me is if I'm gonna be with somebody new, then they need to realize that my child's life is very important to me, and their upbringing is very important to me. And the quality of that upbringing is very important to me. And as a result, like I'm a very good co-parent with her father. And we will remain co-parents and good co-parents for the benefit of the child throughout any sort of new relationship I'm with. And I would hope that any relationship I'm with is going to be complementary to that co-parenting relationship. Like up to and including like you meeting the person and you knowing the person and you being around the person and you being comfortable being around the person. Like, I don't want drama. I don't want fighting. I don't want yelling. I don't want screaming. I don't want arguments. I don't want snide comments behind that person's back because I have a large amount of respect for him because of what he does for my child or my children, right? If a woman says that on the first date, you are now completely erasing. It don't matter how, if she said that and she had 3 kids, you wouldn't really give a fuck. If she said that and she had 3 kids by 3 different fathers, you really wouldn't give a fuck. As a man, at least I'm speaking for myself at this point, I really wouldn't give a fuck. I would be like, oh, okay, well, if I'm baby daddy number 4, then we will have a very good co-parenting relationship regardless of whatever bullshit popped off to fuck up our relationship. That's what I would be thinking. And I would be thinking, okay, well, I could treat this woman like a regular woman in this situation. She's not pushing her children on me. She's not pressuring me to be with her. To be a father in her children's life if I'm not necessarily comfortable with doing that just yet. They have fathers, and so I don't have to worry about this, or a father, so I don't have to worry about this that much. Cool. Of course, there will be boundaries that I would put in place eventually in the relationship. Of course, there would be boundaries I would put into the. Okay, now it's just fucking up for no reason. So, of course, there would be boundaries I would put into the relationship on my side as well in order to fortify my ability to invest in the relationship. But that's a better scenario, right? She's coming with her shit already together. Like, they have a good co-parenting relationship, and now she could seek something else for herself now that she's secured a healthy relationship and a healthy co-parenting relationship for her child. If she can't do that, if she overlooks her child, then how the fuck is she gonna actually focus on me at that point? That's bullshit.
Nigga just be like, sometimes they be full of hate, but they gonna know, damn, she with that nigga. And it's gonna make him not wanna be there as much because he can't compete with a real motherfucker.
You ain't a real nigga if you're not thinking about the children in that situation. You're a fuck nigga. So I don't know what you're talking about in that situation. Anyways.
And if he does leave his kid and
He
step,
can't compete with no real man. So even though it's his child, he still might be petty enough to try. Let's see what Andre Jones had to say. What Corey and Marcus are saying is correct. I told my ex-wife when I came into their lives, I got it, don't call him. And my daughter has never called her bio for anything.
And he's a simp-ass motherfucker who is promulgating this right here. He's a simp-ass, bitch-ass, insecure-ass motherfucker. He's exactly the insecure-ass motherfucker that Corey was trying to project on the other people. He's afraid that the baby daddy is going to come back and lay the dick down to the bitch. And all of a sudden, and therefore he has to make sure that he closes the door to make sure that he doesn't come back in and possibly get some more pussy from the bitch. Like, straight simp shit.
If the nigga ain't finna step up, leave that nigga alone, man. If you with me,
Exactly.
I don't know who else will tell you whatever, but if you with me, we ain't finna sweat no nigga about nothing. And let me tell you something. Here's another thing that might be crazy motherfuckers will say. Nigga, if I got your child and you don't really come around,
Oof, that's a different story. That's another story too.
this motherfucker gonna think I'm crazy when I say this. If I got your child
This is where the
and
fantasy
you don't
comes
really
in.
come around,
That fantasy
you
come
just
in.
pop up 3, 4, 5 times a year. You know how niggas do. Fuck my kid over here, let me pop up.
Right.
Nigga, on the street side of the game, some of your motherfucking rights
No.
are starting to fade.
No.
Because you can't come around me putting your hands on no kids that I'm taking care of.
See, here's the deal with that. Like, first of all, why are you fantasizing about that? That's a worst case scenario. Why are you fantasizing about that? Whatever you have in your mind is what comes out into the world. So what you're thinking about is a worst case scenario that this absentee father is going to immediately come back into the child's life and start trying to physically discipline the child. Like, because you're thinking along those lines, I would assume that would be the nature of the conflict that you have, just simply off the fact that that's what you're thinking. Not because it's actually occurring, but that's what you're thinking, and therefore you're trying to tell this person or pre-tell this person just so you know, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, bitch, who the fuck you talking to? What do you mean, just so I know? The fuck are you talking about, bitch? I don't have to do anything that you're talking about. I don't have to do anything that you're telling me to do. Fuck you, bitch. All right? That's probably what they're thinking. And so that's a conflict that could arise just simply off of you thinking like that. But why are you fantasizing about that? Why are you fantasizing about that? That's weird. That's like boundaries that you could easily handle. You know how that's handled, Corey? You know how that's handled? You talk to the child's mother. That's it. There you go. She's the one who actually has that conversation with him, and they're the ones who actually have that. You know why? Because they're the child's parents. That's how that happens. You are not involved in that. You could just simply just say to the child's mother, hey, I'm uncomfortable with this person coming over and physically disciplining the child. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to, I'd rather you do that as opposed to this person do that, because it makes me feel a type of way. But at the very least, if that's going to occur, I'd rather not be involved or not hear about it in any way, shape, fashion, or form. Because if I do hear about it, I will call blah, 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 Child Protective Services. You know what I'm saying? Because of the situation, because I feel uncomfortable with this person doing that type of physical, you know what I'm saying, reinforcement to the child if he's not here. Right? That's a grown-up conversation. That's not a prerequisite, some sort of little blah, 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 and I'm going to have a conversation and I'm going to tell this person this, that, and the third. You don't have any fucking ball in the fight. And that's an extreme edge case that shouldn't even be going on anyway. Like, you know, physical discipline of a child really is not really something that occurs all the fucking time, right? You understand that, correct? If you're having to whoop your child, you're fucking up as a parent. You understand that, correct? So it's not something to be looked forward to, nor is it something to be preparing for. But simp ass motherfuckers who have to trick their ways into somebody's house and in somebody else's family and into somebody else's kids, and they have to explain away the fact that they're paying to keep alive somebody else's seed and watering somebody else's seed, and regardless of what you pay for that child from 0 to 18 years old, that child's biological father is still going to be that child's biological father, and regardless of that pecking order, that person's biological father is always going to be a slightly above you, buddy. Even if the child says blase squaze, if a kidney needs to be transferred, if half a liver needs to be transferred, they're going to be looking at that father, that potential biological match for an organ donation, not you. Not you. So at the end of the day, like, all that bullshit he's talking about, it don't really matter. It really doesn't matter. He's just fantasizing about a weird scenario and using that as a means to say that he's a guard dog for the situation.
Man.
If you ain't never around, I tell you, I don't give a fuck if this your biological child, this child coming up under my tutelage, you ain't got no motherfucking business putting your hands on this motherfucking child like you finna discipline him the 1 through 6 times a year you come around.
And the reason why that person probably only comes around 1 through 6 times is because the mother that you're talking about in this situation is an ain't shit bitch. You can't have an ain't shit father and an ain't shit mother and a mother who's doing her job. It's usually an ain't shit father is with an ain't shit mother. The two go together, right? That's how that works. Because if you have a mother who's really doing her job, like those 1 or 6 times a year, that person is really trying to say, hey, I really want you to be in the child's life. I really want you to do that. What real father doesn't want to be in the life of the child in a healthy way? What real father doesn't? Right? If he's not a real father, or if he doesn't really want to be in the life of the child, he'll just stay away from the child in the first place. He'll just stay away from the fucking child. That's how that will work. Unless there's an exceptional situation like the situation I'm in. Right? He'll just stay away from the fucking child. But what father wants to be around 1 to 6 times a year but doesn't want to be around 30 to 40? What child? What in your theoretical scenario? What father wants to be around their child only 1 to 6 times a year, and doesn't want to take their children somewhere for the summer? Nah, what's really going on is the bitch in this situation ain't shit. That's what's going on. The bitch ain't shit, so the father ain't shit, and so she's okay with the father being not shit because she ain't shit. Ain't on a level of being worth a damn in order to attract a good man or change his behaviors. That's what the fuck is going on.
I tell you, that you out of pocket. You can't be putting your hands on nobody that I'm raising.
You have to qualify this scenario, Corey the Trick. You have to qualify this scenario. Like, are you talking about a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship? Are you talking about one of the bitches you pay $200 to fuck? What are you actually talking about in this situation, my dude? Like, what situation are you talking about? Or are you talking about a situation where you are married to a trick-ass bitch? I mean, you self-admittedly married a woman who fucked a dude who already had, or who ended up having 6 kids. I don't know if he already had 6 kids when they fucked or whatever, but he ended up slinging that dick around to produce 6 other kids. You married a bitch like that. So, what are you talking about? What scenario are you talking about? Are you talking about a situation where you are married to this woman and you are raising this child in your home? Is that your situation? Would you like to qualify your statement with that asterisk and say that if I'm married to the woman? Because yes, if you are dumb enough to marry an ain't shit bitch who doesn't have a good intact co-parenting relationship, then you may have to do simp shit like what you're talking about in order to regulate the situation. You may. But there's other things that you probably should have done in that situation to guard against having to do that before you married that ain't shit bitch, as opposed to setting up weird boundaries that are not in the interest of the child after you decided to marry her, right?
Now, motherfucker might tell me I'm crazy,
No,
but I'm here to tell you.
I get it. I agree.
Don't, hey, nigga, you ain't in his life like that.
Right, he's not handling his business.
You
right.
think you finna come over here and be like, hey, look, nigga, woo, 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 I'm gonna be right there. Hey, hold on, homie. Biologically, this is your child. And I even give you propers to a certain extent. But you can't discipline nobody in this house if you ain't fucking with us for real.
Don't say us in this situation, in particularly your situation, when you know you have multiple bitches. You know, I have multiple bitches too. And at the end of the day, I can't say no us. That's the reason why I have my fucking policy. You know what I'm saying? Since I have multiple bitches, I can't sit up there and try to have like a scenario where I'm narrowing down to that level. What I try to do is I try to encourage a good co-parenting relationship regardless in that situation, because at the end of the day, I got other bitches that I'm fucking. Okay? I got other bitches that I'm fucking. And so therefore, I'm not going to sit around and tell somebody and prescribe to somebody and get so deep into the situation that as if it's us. It ain't no us. It ain't no us unless we got married, right? So this simp shit that's coming out of his mouth once again. Oh well, you ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna go up against us, nigga. Really? Corey Holcomb. How many us's are there? How many families are you trying to say us to, nigga? How many bitches you fucking? Because if it's more than 3, nigga, it ain't no us. Stop it. Stop that bullshit. Right? Stop with the cap with this bullshit. Stop it. Okay? It ain't no goddamn us. It's them. You just describe us, the kids and us. You describe them kids as the fuckers you decided to keep. And now you want to flip on the other side and say us? Shut the fuck up, nigga.
Right.
If you ain't fucking with us for real, goddammit, homie, you come visit your child, I'll never get in the way of that. But you ain't running shit over here, nigga.
Man.
And
Yeah, Corey's running the house with them fuckers you decided to keep. That she decided to keep. He's running the house hold with that includes them fuckers she decided to keep. Fuck out of here.
you ain't putting in shit. Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here, nigga,
But
yo
here's-
stop by ass, nigga. You don't
Right,
get your
but here's-
stop by ass the
But
fuck
here's
up
the
out
messed
of here.
up thing.
That just-
Here's the messed up thing, though, Corey. If people are living like that, right, dealing with somebody like that, and have yet to have that person, let's just say he pops up every now and then, once a year, or he flakes on his kid, that kind of dad. I'm gonna pick you up this day, never shows up, stuff like that. Get him to relinquish his rights as a parent. It's not hard.
I don't
And-
need him to relinquish his
No, I'm
rights
saying-
as a
no,
parent.
but if you don't, he can
already
come and
did.
do.
Who gives a fuck whether or not you need him to relinquish his rights? Did you fuck him and produce a child? Did he fuck you and produce a child? You ain't involved in that conversation there, Corey. Unless you are married to the woman and you have decided to adopt the child, which you probably wouldn't be able to do unless he relinquished his rights to the child or signed off on the adoption, then what the fuck are you talking about, Corey? You're not a part of that decision-making process. The fuck?
do
It
whatever he
itself.
wants, but he can keep.
We
but he
we
can
on
keep
man
coming in.
code. No, I'm saying like it's men
But
out
he'll
here
keep his rights.
who are disillusioned. They don't want to put nothing on nothing, but want to act like they got some rights in your motherfucking house.
He does,
I
whether
pay
he's
the
paying-
boss to be the cost. I pay the
matter.
cost to be the boss. Look,
No, you just tricked off to fuck a bitch who has kids. Stop it. That doesn't mean you have any rights. That doesn't mean that you're the boss of anything. You just paid a bitch to fuck, and she happens to have fuckers that she decided to keep. Watch it. Like, shut the fuck up, man.
my nigga, I handle all this shit over here. I don't even. You ain't even on child support, cuz this my bro.
Yeah, because you tricking. It's because you tricking on a funky bitch who had kids who she couldn't maintain a good relationship with the child's father. You tricking off on that bitch. Okay, so because you tricking off on that bitch, that means you have some say so with her kids? No, nigga, that's not how that works. You just a trick. Fuck the bitch for the money that you provide. That's all you need to do. Just because you decided to be a dumb trick and give her money for her kids as well, that's being a dumbass motherfucking trick. Just because you're a dumb trick and you're giving her money for her kids as well, don't mean that you have any rights or say so over the kid's life. You just a trick, nigga. Like, you just a trick. Fuck the bitch, the funky bitch that you got. The funky bitch that are not you fucking a bitch, right? That a nigga put a kid in and still decided to say, nah, I ain't gonna stay with this bitch. Nah, I know she had my kid. Nah. Like, nah, I know she had my kid, but I ain't gonna stay with this bitch. I don't wanna stay with this bitch. Fuck this bitch. I need to move on with somebody. Nah, fuck her, fuck this kid. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. This bitch is so stupid and so dumb that I'm getting the fuck up out of here no matter whether or not she had my kid or not. I'm out of this bitch. That's the bitch you fucking. That's the bitch you got with. Like, stop it with the bullshit, man. Stop it. I know you gotta say some controversial shit for views. I understand that, but this is some trick philosophy. This is some trickism is what flowing out of your mouth. Listen, there's a difference between tricking and being a trick. People can trick. Most men have to trick. Most men tricking at every single level. There is no such thing as, or very few and far between examples of free pussy. Okay, pussy has a cost, even if it's at the cost of your time. Pussy has a cost of some sort of kind, right? But there's a difference between tricking and being a trick. Okay, Corey, you're showing that you're a trick. If you think that just because you paying some light bills, that means that you have a say-so in the fucking child's upbringing, nigga, no. Just fuck the dirty bitch you fucking, okay? Just put dick to her and shut the fuck up. Put dick to her, encourage her to have a good relationship with the child's father, and move the fuck on. That's all you gotta do, nigga. Well, if she my bitch, are you marrying the bitch, Corey? Are you gonna marry the bitch? You got a ring picked out for this funky little bitch? You got a ring picked out? Okay, cool. Go ahead and give her the ring, Corey. Go ahead and give her the ring. Fuck out of here, man.
Whatever she did before me, I don't hold that against her. But she with me now, and this kid with me now, and you can't come over here 5 times a year at most putting your hands on nobody.
You see how he sort of adds all that shit together? Like, what kind of scenario is that? Like, what kind of absentee father who's only in the life of their child 1 to 6 times a year is primarily thinking about physically disciplining their child? More than likely, if they have physical rights to see their child in this situation, as opposed to just simply telephonic visitation, they're probably thinking about expanding their visitation rights with the child in most of those cases. Right? In most of those cases. So in most of those cases, and again, we're not talking about edge cases like Corey likes to talk about. In most of those cases, those individuals are trying to be on their best behavior in order to be granted by a judge an expansion of their their time with their child. And physically assaulting their child in a custody situation like that is not a very good thing to actually occur. That probably rarely occurs. Rarely. And again, if it is happening, you know what that's a sign of there, Corey? That more parenting is needed. If you're having to physically discipline your child, it means the parenting situation is fucked up. And if you use your logic there, Corey, we could flip it around. So you mean to tell me the ass whooping is for nothing? The discipline is for nothing? In your little scenario where a child's father is only in their lives for 1 to 6 times a year, and out of those 1 to 6 encounters per year are so angered by the child's behavior that they want to physically discipline the child, that means you and the funky bitch that you decided to fucking fuck aren't doing a very good job of raising the child in that situation, don't you think? It means that y'all suck at raising this fucking child to the point where somebody who ain't even in the child's life, who knows that they are walking on eggshells so far as custody is concerned, and possibly could have custody taken away from them for physically assaulting their child, is put into a situation where where they are so disgusted at their child's behavior that taking off a belt is the very first thing that they want to do. How bad does the situation have to be in the fucking child's household in order for their parenting to suck that bad, in order for them to display behaviors that want a child's father to do some shit like that in the first place? Corey, we can have these counter theoretical situations at the extremes on both sides of this, Corey. But these things don't actually occur, trick. Like, they don't actually occur. You're using trickism, you're using trick logic to say, well, I'm paying all the bills, so this child is technically mine. If you think about it, if I'm paying everything. No, nigga. Even in your theoretical scenario, it's fucked up. It means that y'all doing such a horrible ass job that this stop by ass nigga wants to risk his custody by beating his child's ass for some bullshit that's going on that he's seeing. Maybe y'all should have whooped the child's ass before they decided to see the child's father, biological father. Maybe that's what should have occurred. Maybe the mother should have whooped the child's ass and basically been a better parent in the situation. Or maybe the lack of parenting is coming from the lack of the father being in the household, and maybe the child is just acting out because the father is not there. That happens as well, Corey. Boy, I tell you, shut the fuck up, man. And I think that, and that's another part of it too. The lack of understanding of what happens in a child psychology situation, right? So in a situation where you have, in many cases, a girl child does this, you have a child acting out because their father is not in the household and they're trying to basically act out for attention. In a situation where Corey is leading that household, he may be disciplining that child when the child doesn't need discipline. The child actually needs their father, their biological father, in their in the life of the child. That's what they actually need. But Corey would miss that entirely. He would actually miss all symptoms that would arise from a child's behavior being affected by the lack of having a relationship with their fathers. And the validation that comes from their biological father, he would miss all those signs, actually. So how would he or his ain't shit, skank ass, hoe ass, lack of being a co-parent ass bitch that he's fucking in exchange for money, how would they actually be a very good parent in the first place if they're missing all of these signs? Because Corey would miss all of those.
Nobody in this house.
They said, D, we don't do
Niggas-
chorus. Okay,
niggas
but
had
the
it-
fool can
niggas get
continue to keep
entitlement
popping up
in a
anytime he
motherfucker.
wants.
They feel like they got
and his
control
family.
of her. If a nigga, it's niggas out here that are nutting a woman. have
Somebody
a
say the baby
with him,
daddy pulled the plug.
have a baby daddy, have a baby with him, and think they got full control of her for the rest of their life just because they got that baby, they got that connection with him.
Now remember that the simp ass nigga Marcus just said that because Corey's bitch ass is gonna exactly say the same fucking thing a little bit later.
And this niggas in his chat room that's saying you can't do that, you ain't the man. Shut that.
I
Nigga,
feel
ain't-
you. I'm not the biological father. But look, homie, this is my motherfucking shit over here. If you ain't paying for this shit and I'm handling all this, all I'm saying is I'm in charge of protecting these people you don't never be around. So you can't come
Protecting these people like the fuckers she decided to keep.
over here
Thank you.
with your form of discipline in my motherfucking situation because I got to protect them while you run the streets fucking bitches getting money, whatever you do.
It's messed up.
I'm with them. I'm with these people every day. I have to protect them. So your rights as a father is limited to a certain
No, it's
extent,
not.
homie. You can't put your hands on nobody over here.
Again. That's an extent. That's a edge case scenario. That's an edge case scenario. It's an edge case scenario that's defeated when you keep on going and use a counter scenario to that edge case. He's using that edge case scenario to make all the bullshit all the other bullshit, simp ass, trick ass bullshit that's coming out of his mouth, right? Try to seem like it makes sense. Oh, well, you can't be doing all this shit. If you come over here, I can't have you coming over here and whooping this child to bloody death. Okay, yeah, I don't think that's right either, but that's probably not going to be the scenario. Well, I can't have you disciplining the child at all. Yeah, I'm going to discipline my fucking child, right? Discipline is not necessarily me putting my hands on my child, but I am going to discipline my child. Well, you ain't got no say-so at all. That's how that fucking conversation would actually escalate with a trick-ass nigga like Corey. Right? That's how that shit would actually escalate. He's saying right now, oh, it's physical discipline, but really it's any sort of discipline that makes this little bitch ass motherfucker feel insecure. That's what it really does. That's what he's really talking about. Right? That's what he's really saying here.
I don't give a fuck who. This is your biological son, yeah. But you ain't finna put your hands on nobody over here. Now that's the shit that's controversial, and I know, but you gotta know what it feels like to be the motherfucker holding it down and some goof ass nigga pop up when he want with his law in your house.
Like you
Right.
said, Jeremy, I know I'm correct on that. I don't like to be correct on that. I'm just speaking the truth. That's the truth, that no matter what, they can still pop up. They can be gone for 10 years, 12
That's
years.
goddamn
And whenever he
right.
wants to, he still has his parental rights. It's going to go down.
He
It's
can
terrible.
talk to his kid. I
It's terrible.
ain't never
No,
trying
not
to
even
keep
that.
no
No, he
father
can
from
come
his
and try
kid.
and fight
Now
for his
he's
kid.
trying to
It doesn't
backtrack
matter
like
if
a
they say
bitch.
if somebody says, hey, but we've been providing for him, he hasn't done anything. If the parental rights he still has intact, It's unfortunate, but they can still do. I'm not saying I like that
Look,
idea,
look.
but
Exactly.
legally,
That's called
that's what's going to
legality
happen.
there,
Hey, look.
Corey.
A man
This-
or a
I
woman.
know people might.
And that funky little bullshit, that ghetto ass bullshit that the law of the streets bullshit that you're talking about doesn't actually apply. Again, you need to educate yourself in this situation. Not necessarily just go off of the cuff of some bullshit and then make it sound good by going to an edge case, right? That person still does have rights in the life of the child. You know why they have rights in the life of the child? It's because if all of those exemptions are in place, all of those exceptions to the rules are in place, just that father being in the child's life makes that child have better outcomes. If they're not an alcoholic, they're not sexually assaulting, they're not mentally abusing, they're not physically abusing the child. If all those things are not the case, that is not going on in the child, just the mere presence of the father makes that child a lot better. That's the reason why they still have rights, Corey. And your little trick ass, I'm the boyfriend now. After 4 months of fucking the bitch, and now y'all moved in together. That's how people get shot. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. That's how people get shot. That's how people end up the child's father ends up going to the baby mama's house, getting into fights and shootouts and bullshit with the new boyfriend because he's out of fucking pocket. He's out of fucking pocket. He's out of fucking pocket entirely. He's some simp ass motherfucker like Marcus. Like, I got a real family now. This is all mine, nigga. This bitch got shit on my dick and I had to wipe it off. And bitch, you know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? This bitch let me fuck her in the asshole and didn't even know. The bitch was such a fucking hoe, taking it up the ass that she didn't even know I was fucking her in the asshole at the time. I just stuck it in a hole. She took it, and I was ramrodding the shit out of her the whole entire fucking time. Like, I've done freaky shit with this bitch, and you trying to talk way before I even had a child by this funky ass heifer. Way before I even had any sort of child by this funky ass heifer, I was slutting this bitch out in ways you don't know about, nigga. And you gonna come tell me about what I should and should not do, what I can and cannot do, when I had to put up with this funky bitch to even have this child in the first place? Like, you don't even know what the fuck you talking about, and you coming up here saying this type of shit. That's how you have conflicts, right? That's how you have fights. That's how you have shootouts. That's how you have all sorts of unnecessary shit that ignores the well-being of the child, right? Because you have simps like simps like Marcus and tricks like Corey trying to impose their logic in the situation, right? Stupid.
Think I'm wrong.
A man or a
but
woman.
I'm telling you, you got to protect your motherfucking castle.
Man.
No outsiders running shit in here, because we ain't sweating you for nothing.
Might
And
wanna
I'd
get
have
it
been
done.
in a situation before where a motherfucking nigga popped up and thought because it was his kid, he could motherfucking discipline the boy. The boy 9. He ain't even seen his father that much. Nigga, one day something happened and the motherfucker put his hands on the boy. I was like, this nigga that boy don't even really know you like that.
That is not your job to
Oh,
say
yeah.
this goddamn
Man, look.
thing in that situation. You know what your job is, Corey? I know this is gonna be very difficult for you to do because it's gonna fuck up your ability to still get pussy from the bitch. You have two options in a situation like that, right? Number one, you have a conversation with the child's mother, right? That's your avenue right there. You have a conversation with the child's mother. The second, you have a conversation with Child Protective Services. Those are your only two options. Your options is not to have a conversation with the child's father in any way, shape, fashion, or form. Those are the two conversations you have about that situation. That's it. You don't have a conflict with that. You don't have now, if you see a situation where it's like physical abuse, you're there to witness physical abuse, clearly you can say something directly to that person, right? But functionally, structurally, the way you actually handle that is to have a conversation with the child's mother or have a conversation with CPS. That's what you do. And even if that fucks up your relationship with the child's mother, it does what it does. Those are your two options. But those are, again, an edge case scenario. An edge case scenario. Right? No parent wants to whoop their child, number one. Number two is, like, again, you're trying to say that, well, I saw this situation. Okay, edge case scenario. That nigga clearly thought that you was a bitch-ass motherfucker. You wasn't going to do or say shit. fuck you, and I'm gonna do it in front of you. Like that type of shit. Like he must have been on one and entirely on one. And then you have to ask yourself, if that's ain't shit qualities from the dude, what the fuck is the bitch doing having a child by this ain't shit dude in the first place? What the fuck is this bitch doing having me in this situation in the first place with this ain't shit dude? How come she didn't fix this shit with this ain't shit dude before she decided to get with me in the first place?
You don't hit nobody else over here, man. You'll get fucked up over here. This is my shit. You and Corey Holcomb.
You got to check that shit because at the end of the day, he'll feel that entitlement and he'll take it to the woman. He'll start trying to.
He'll take it to the woman.
Yeah, he'll take it to the woman. He'll start trying to. He feel like, oh, she'll let me do this.
Oh, let's talk about that too.
Yeah,
what rights
them niggas
do
feel
he
entitled
got?
to the. They feel entitled to the woman too, man. I'm telling you,
That's
man.
why I'm
Remember
asking
this
you,
part.
Marcus, what rights do the baby daddy have to your woman if he is an absentee father?
He ain't got no
To
damn
the woman,
rights.
he doesn't have any rights, but to the kid, unfortunately, they do, unless they
Because some
relinquish
motherfucker be like, look, we talking
parental
about
rights.
our child over here.
Yeah, they would do that.
Because that's what they're doing. They're having a co-parenting situation with their child. And even if that situation is heated, it's not your job to step into that situation at all. It's not your job. It's not your job. I don't give a damn if he could all up and call her a bitch and then hey, he's known the bitch. Has he known the bitch longer than you? Do you know every single thing the dirty bitch did to the nigga? Okay, maybe there's a reason he's calling that bitch a bitch. Even if he calls her a bitch, there is no reason for you to step in the middle of that in any way, shape, fashion, form. Nah, shit to do with you. Nah, shit to do with you.
They would do that. A nigga would do that. Nigga, this our baby. This ain't got nothing to do with you. A nigga would try to play you like that.
You try to play who like that?
You
You try to play who like that?
The new,
Look, nigga, this your child. You can always see your child and everything. But motherfucker, this is my law. And if you ain't motherfucking that nigga who part of this solution, homie, you got a motherfucking, your rights is limited. Your rights is limited. And I'm talking about.
Bum ass bitches love this shit right here. Bum ass bitches love this shit right here. This is a bum ass bitch's golden ticket, right? She can use this type of shit to have any sort of conflict that happen between those two individuals for her to feel validated and appreciated and supported in that situation, because she could always have these two bum ass motherfuckers fighting each other over this child and showing her attention as a result, right? This sort of bum ass attitude completely sort of like a firewall to fuckery as opposed to a guidance to health, to a healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? This type of bullshit is what a ratchet ass bitch wants to hear, right? Like if he couldn't get the fat booty ratchet bitch with him saying some simp ass shit like this, she would be definitely on board, because at any time she got bored, she could just start up some bullshit between her baby daddy and her boyfriend and have them seemingly fight over her and give her all the validation and attention that she wants, while she sits back and giggles over the shit, and her child that she's allowing to have a fucked up life and a fucked up relationship and being in a fucked up, potentially violent relationship or violent environment between these two conflicting males or conflicting males. You know what I'm saying? She gets to not sit back and just have a ball with this type of attitude, right? This is trick. This is a statement of, I'm not tricking, I'm a trick. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tricking, I'm a trick. There's a difference. And I'm telling you very clearly, I'm a trick, is what he's doing right now.
On some man shit.
right,
You don't
Judah.
run shit over.
No, it's on some trick shit. It's on some, I paid $40 for this pussy one time at the bar. And now I'm paying the light bill and the water bill. Now, bitch, give me some respect. It's some tricking shit.
For here, nigga. This mama
Oh, sorry, some trick shit.
motherfucking house. That's my bro. That's your child biologically. You can get in his life and you can do whatever you want to do, but try to beat him up.
Again, it's an edge case scenario. The only way he can sell this bullshit trick simp shit is by going to an edge case scenario. What if he wants to discipline the child in a deeper way than you? What if you are saying that, hey, I want to put you on this level of punishment, and the child's father is saying, nah, I think that it's a more serious situation. I want to put him on this level of punishment. Then what you gonna do, Corey? What you gonna do, Corey? I bet you still gonna buck up like a little bitch and a little trick and say, well, I don't give a damn what you gotta say. I said he's only on punishment for 1 day. He don't need to be on punishment for 3 days. That's the type of bullshit that's gonna come out of your mouth in a non-edge case, bum ass Corey. When a situation where you're just a boyfriend in the situation, you're not even a husband. All right, you're trying to be reasonable or trying to come off as reasonable by using an edge case. Okay, great. Corey Holcomb has a problem with an absentee father coming into a situation and jap slapping his fucking child. Great. I think most people would have problems with that, and they would handle that problem in different ways or in varying ways. Great. That's not the situation that's going to happen on a day-to-day basis, dumbass. Again, what if the situation is, okay, this father who's only in the life of the child one to 6 times a year comes back into the life of the child where the child is under punishment for something he did at school. The father knows, speaking from a male's perspective, and from a male's perspective, and speaking from a situation of him knowing his own child, whether it be limited or extensive, and say, hey, I think this is a much more serious situation. I think that my child should be on punishment for a little bit more time than that. And he's speaking to the child's mother, not to you, right? What you gonna do then in that situation? You gonna stay back out of the situation? You ain't gonna say nothing. You ain't gonna have shit to say. You gonna go off of what he said, even if it's communicated through the chick in the situation, or are you gonna be a trick and say, well, no, I'm the one who's running this household. I only put him on punishment for a day. That's all he gonna be on punishment for. Trick ass nigga.
Put your hands on him.
If you ain't taking care of him, you can't discipline.
That's what I'm saying, nigga. You can't pop up as not in my house.
Listen, Marcus, also physical violence against a child in the form of slapping their ass and doing all that little shit, beating them with a belt. That's actually mild forms of child abuse. That's not discipline. Discipline is always something that is available to a parent, to their child, right? And discipline can come in many, many forms, not necessarily punitive discipline, but it also could be positive discipline, like reinforcing study habits and everything else, and consequences for bad choices and stuff like that, reinforcing those types of things. That is discipline. Discipline could be them showing up and making sure that that the child is at practice on time or early every single day. And that means that if your ass is late dropping the child off for the parent to take them to the practice that they need to take them to, that they may need to have a conversation with you because you're affecting their ability to teach their child discipline so far as being to a place early as opposed to just being on time. What you gonna do then, Marcus, the simp? The Similac around your mouth. Again, y'all are using edge cases in order to justify yourself, which is bullshit.
And a motherfucker might say, shit, Corey, you foul. Bring your ass to my house, think you run something. Nigga,
there you go.
Really? A motherfucker need to get with me.
See, there you go.
When it comes to the child.
Why? The child or the fucker she decided to keep. So I, as a let's put this in a, well, no, I'm not gonna do that. But let's say somebody comes up to you and one of the $200 a fuck trick, bitches that you decide to fuck, and he wants to talk about his child. He has to run that through you. Why, nigga? You just a boyfriend in this situation. You ain't nobody but a nigga who's fucking the bitch for right now. Hell, the baby daddy could still be fucking what you're about to go into right now. But yeah, still he needs to run some shit by you, nigga. You trick ass in the motherfucker. Ain't nobody gotta run shit through you, trick. All he has to do is talk to the actual child's mother. That's called a co-parenting relationship. A word doesn't exist that includes a fucking step boyfriend or a word doesn't exist that encompasses the child, the mother, and the mother's boyfriend into the situation, into a parenting collective. There is no word for that. Co-parenting is between the father and the mother. You ain't got shit to do with it. Ain't nobody got to run shit to you or through you. And again, we're not talking about a situation where you're married. If you're married and you're adopting the child, maybe those dynamics change. But then the question has to be on you. Why you married the fucking slut-ass bitch in the first place if she couldn't handle the situation with her father or the child's father before you decided to get with the bitch in the first place. That's on you as to why you married the bitch in the first place.
You can talk to the mama a little bit, but most of the time, she gonna be trained you on speaker talking to us. Go ahead.
I don't see how any nigga can defend a nigga that abandoned the child anyway. Like he left he fucked it. He said, fuck it, I'm out of here.
And that's why Marcus is such a simp. In Marcus, let me explain something to you. In certain situations, it's not that situation. In certain situations, it's the mother is a cunt playing games, and the father has to decide to either continue playing those games and risk hurting his mental health in that situation, or whether or not he wants to distance himself, unfortunately, from both that nasty, covert, narcissist piece of shit and the child that comes with it, right? That is the choice that oftentimes these funky bitches actually run, but you're too young with Similac around your fucking mouth in order to realize that that's the game that some of these bitches play when you no longer want they funky, fat, ugly asses anymore. Caked up with makeup, trying to cover up that ugly ass scar on your nose, having ass bitches in the world, right? When you're more likely, no, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. I could say something really bad right now. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But anyways, when you don't want the bitches anymore, then they go after the shit that you actually do want. And if you do want a relationship with your child, then those are the types of bitches that'll keep your child away from you. If you don't want the child to have anything to do with the child, those are the same bitches trying to run you down for this, that, and the third and put the child all up in your face as an annoyance. Right? At the end of the day, it could be a funky bitch causing that problem there, Marcus. See, Marcus is the type of motherfucker that'll lay up in bed with a funky ass bitch as she goes down the list of all the bullshit that she claims her ex-boyfriend or ex-husband did to her, when all that shit is completely bullshit and she's leaving out 1,001 things that she did to him. And Marcus would be the type of motherfucker sitting up there giving her a back massage, believing the whole thing. And then the next time he see the motherfucker grimacing and biting his lip and doing all this other little fuck shit underneath his breath because he believed every little thing that the bitch told him about the situation. Like, Marcus is that type of motherfucker. So at the end of the day, Marcus, it could be a situation where he didn't just necessarily leave. It could be a situation where the funky bitch is keeping the children away from him on purpose. And you would think that with those two older bitches sitting right next to him, both Darlene and Corey, that one of them would speak up and talk about that type of scenario, but both of them remain silent. We'll see.
That was a choice.
It's terrible, but it happens.
That's what I'm saying, Mark. But one thing I want to make clear, I will never stop the bond between the biological
If he's trying
father
to be involved,
and
right, for
child.
See the flip-flop? See the flip-flop? See the flip-flop? I would never stop the bond so long as he suck my dick and say that this is my house and he recognizes me as an equal figure or higher figure in his situation, even though I'm just a fucking boyfriend in my edge case scenario. And up to and including to the point where he doesn't even speak to the child's mother anymore. He has to come through me. So if that's the case, then I won't involve myself in this. Shut the fuck up. Ain't nobody gonna get to that type of situation with you, nigga. They gonna already have problems with you if that's the type of simp shit you're doing, simp trick shit you're doing. You ain't gonna have a relationship with those individuals. That's how that's gonna work.
I'm not that kind of nigga, but it's rules in place, homie. This my motherfucking house, and I protect the citizens of my motherfucking house. If you not around. Now, if you're a father who in the child life,
Right.
I'm going to kind of fall back. I'm going to be like, well, he got his dad. His dad hold him down. his dad watch his back. It ain't always about money with a nigga like me.
Yeah.
Cause I don't really need your money, nigga. You in this child life, it's a beautiful thing, cause he gonna know two niggas. If this my bro,
You mean the fucker she decided to keep is gonna learn something from you? I'm gonna keep on bringing that shit up because he tries to cast himself as a good, decent person, but he's not a good, decent person, in my opinion. After hearing this little fuck shit come out of his mouth, in my opinion, he's not a good, decent person. And what he's demonstrated earlier in the same conversation is he called those motherfuckers the fuckers you decided to keep. Right? So how can he ever have or display respect and disrespect? What kind of tree gives out good and bad fruit? Is my question for those who are listening. All right. So at the end of the day, the bullshit that's coming out of his mouth is just bullshit. It's dribble. It's not real. It's just some bullshit coming out of his fucking mouth.
he gonna know two niggas. But I ain't finna come between you and your child. Go ahead, but don't be trying to beat him up with your pop through ass, cause I'll beat your ass. We'll go to war.
See, this type of bullshit is again how people get shot. And this type of messaging shouldn't even be allowed on YouTube, to be honest. This type of messaging should not be allowed on YouTube, to be honest. It should not. Right? Because this type of messaging engenders conflicts between biological fathers and the child's mother's boyfriends. And it shouldn't be encouraged. These types of narratives shouldn't be encouraged in any way, shape, fashion, or form. At the end of the day, like, if you're a boyfriend in this situation, you should shut the fuck up. If you're if you've married this funky bitch and you've decided that you wanted to adopt the child, that is a completely different situation. That is a completely different situation. But if you're a boyfriend in this situation, you shouldn't even be having this conversation. And if the funky bitch is allowing you to interject yourself into the life of her child and you're just a fucking boyfriend, then that just is an indication of how funky the funky bitch actually is. Like, honestly.
Nigga, ain't no motherfuckers under my tutelage got to be worried about some outside nigga coming in there putting their hands on nobody, and he ain't in their motherfucking life. And when I say in their life, I'm talking about we know what it is, Marcus.
Right.
We know when a nigga in their child life. And we know when a nigga think he could pop through and pull rank.
Right.
Nigga, you ain't
And
pulling no
niggas
rank
is so
over
funny.
here.
Niggas saying you a goofy. You a goofy if you let a nigga come in and think he can do something in your motherfucking crib, nigga.
That's damn, Marcus, you are so
What
right.
are you talking about?
So the average man don't know. But if you the motherfucker, if you the breadwinner, you taking care of your woman, or it ain't even got to be the breadwinner. If you and your woman a solid unit, that decisions is made by y'all. But don't never keep no child away from his father.
Never. Yeah.
But don't let no ain't shit ass nigga come over there putting his hands on nobody that you raising.
Right.
That's the only thing I got to say. You don't put your hands on no.
Edge case bullshit, waffling all over the goddamn place, no clarity, trying to make himself out to be some pimp with sage advice, but really it's just a trick on the rag, spewing out his emotions in the situation.
Nobody in this house, cause I gotta hold these people down.
But some niggas act like they fuck with their child on the conditions of being in contact with the mama. I
don't know why niggas be letting motherfuckers talk.
A nigga act like he's trying to see the child, but he's just trying to find a way to get back in with his mama.
Let me say this. I'm gonna say something very, very clear to anybody. Don't fuck that bitch anymore. Listen. If you can legitimately make up, which is very difficult because at the end of the day, if you break up with a person, you really shouldn't get back with them at all. If there's some sort of miracle type situation where this person has went to counseling and they've truly changed and they truly have, improved themselves and they are truly a different person with different actions and a long history to show for it, then okay, maybe you could give it a try again. However, the statistics associated with marriage are abysmal in this country, and at the end of the day, it's not even worth trying. If you have had a situation with a person, the goal is to be a good co-parent. The goal is not to fuck this person or be in another relationship with this person, because second marriages, even with the same person, has horrible divorce rates as well. Even more so than first marriages, because you already know what you don't like about the bitch. So as soon as she starts acting like that, then you're gonna drop the bitch again. So it's not even worth it. So at the end of the day, you should not be fucking your baby mama. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Now, do I have bitches that if I had a baby by them, I would still want to fuck them even if they were with other people? Absolutely, because they have good pussy. But at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't. Like, 9 times out of 10, I would not try to fuck them anymore. I would only say, it would have to be a situation where we're so good and everything is so great with us as co-parents that I have time for that then, right? I would not want to fuck a situation. Well, let me be honest. Let me be clear. With my previous situation, I wouldn't fuck her if my dick was on fire and her pussy was filled with ice cubes and olive oil or some sort of cocoa butter or some shit like that. I wouldn't fuck her. I wouldn't put my dick in her in any way, shape, fashion, or form, right? I don't want to have anything to do with her in any way, shape, fashion, or form. But that's coming from a personal standpoint. From other people, if I were to decide to have a child by them, would I want to have a sexual relationship with them? Possibly, yes. But what would come first is whether or not we have a good co-parenting relationship first. If we have a good co-parenting relationship and we happen to fuck on the side, cool. But the co-parenting relationship is going to come first, right? So this, again, edge case scenario of whether or not somebody wants to do that, I just feel as though that's just bullshit. Like, if you're worried about trying to fuck the bitch continuously, then you're not really focused on the child. You're just focused on getting your nut. And you can get your nut with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it with the same bitch. There's a reason why you left the bitch, right? There's a reason why you, even though she had your kid and you could have chosen her for a relationship, there's a reason why you sent the bitch down the river. So leave the bitch sunk down the river. Like, that's my general philosophy.
But that's a natural thing.
And you got to be wary of that.
But that's the shit. But nigga, don't play with me.
You got to be leery of that too, because what if she has a little something to do with that too?
Well, I know what you're saying, Deep, but I trust my instincts. If I'm around a broad and I'm claiming a broad, I believe that we a unit. Mm-hmm. And now if I'm a fool, I'll find out I'm a fool because everything hit the light.
That's what I'm saying. Take some time. That's why people need to be around.
Because a nigga pop up at a girl's house. I want to see my son.
What? Hold on. You got yourself it's into. All situational shit.
Yeah.
Look, if a nigga who motherfucking in his son's life, I'm gonna know the nigga, and I'm gonna tell a nigga, your son there. You come over here whenever you want. Mm-hmm. Y'all need to bond. I'm not regulating nothing.
Corey, what you're describing in that situation is what's called a co-parenting situation, a healthy co-parenting situation. That's why you don't have a problem with that. It's because the mother in that situation is actually fostering a good co-parenting relationship with the child and the child's father. That's why the person is in their life, and that's why you don't have a problem. And even if you did have a problem, if the mother is doing her job as a co-parent on her side, you wouldn't even dare to open up your fucking mouth about that situation. She would have already checked you before you even had an opportunity to be around her child. In order for you to even be around her child, you would have already known, don't open your mouth about anything associated with my upbringing of my child when it comes down to me and my child's father. Like, that has nothing to do with you. We don't have a sexual relationship. What we have is a relationship for the interest of the child, and I can handle that. She would have already checked your ass. That's the reason why you wouldn't have nothing to say, is because a healthy co-parenting relationship would have equally healthy boundaries between boyfriends, and specifically trick boyfriends coming in around the child. Trick boyfriends like you are only present in unhealthy environments in the first place. You don't even know what the fuck I'm even talking about right now, because you've probably never even been in a relationship with a bitch who's had a healthy co-parenting relationship ever before in your goddamn life. Right? Because you've never been around that quality of women. So all of what I'm saying right now is completely foreign to you, because all you're used to having is trick-ass bitches who fuck for the 200. So I find it funny.
I'm just regulating violence in my house.
Right.
Only violence going on is mine.
There you go.
Unless you that motherfucker, you in that child life like that, then I might fall back. You know, okay, that's his dad. Him and his dad got to go through what they got to go through.
Yeah, you
But
got.
I'm talking about you pop up niggas.
No, first of all, now if they have a good situation, then maybe I'll turn a blind eye to physical abuse. No, no, no. Even if physical abuse is going on with a situation where the child, if I'm in a situation where there is a situation where physical abuse is going on, my problem is not with the man. My problem is with the woman, with the mother. That's the bitch I'm fucking. I'm going to go to her and be like, why are you allowing this man to put his hands on your child like that in front of me? Or why am I even hearing about this type of shit? This is wrong. He shouldn't be doing that type of shit. Why are you allowing that type of shit to go on? Depending on her answer is whether or not I stay with the bitch. And depending on how on my idea of whether or not that type of physical violence is going to continue going on, is whether or not I go to CPS or the CPS equivalent. That's what that happened. It's not like, oh well, now we cool, like he in the life of the child, which is again up to whether or not the mother is not an ain't shit bitch playing games with child custody. That depends on that as well, right? So if she's an ain't shit bitch who's playing games with child custody, then you won't be around the child. You won't be in the child's life, and you won't be able to have a relationship that could be qualified for a trick ass nigga like Corey. All right. But anyways, go ahead.
Nigga, don't pop up over here whooping no ass.
You got to be able to differentiate though, man. Motherfucker will use that child as a pawn for real.
The worst
to play
thing
with you. And
say that again. To do what?
They'll use that pawn to play with you.
That's the worst thing
what
you
I'm
can
talking
do
about.
is play with me. Once I establish you a fuck nigga.
Are they talking about an absentee, non-custodial, or non-custodial father using a child to play with the boyfriend? Are you? What edge cases are they working with? Like, in what universe? What universe are you talking about? That statement applies to women using children to play both the potential stepdaddy in the situation as well as the child's father, to get resources out of those two individuals by playing those two individuals against one another and engendering that and fostering that type of conflict between them in order to extract more resources out of the both of them. That's the games that's played, Marcus. What edge case are you talking about?
It's problems. Mm-hmm. But this is what happened when you take on somebody's child also.
Yeah.
A woman who got kids, you got problems.
Yeah.
That shit ain't no walk in the park. If you take on a woman who got kids, man, goddamn it, you taking on her and that other fuck shit she used to be on that didn't work out. Or you might be taking on a motherfucking good nigga and a fuck ass bitch. It depends on what kind of nigga you is.
Well, now you had to get around to it after all that trick talk. That is a possibility. And considering that possibility, it negates every fucking thing that you've been saying for 14 minutes, dumbass.
Cause I don't fuck around with fuck ass bitches cause I motherfucking.
You don't fuck around with fuck ass bitches. I would say that any bitch who's fucking for the 200 is a fuck ass bitch. I would say any bitch that fucks around with you and you tell them straight to their face, I ain't shit, is a fuck ass bitch. If you've already stated that your standards of having sex with a woman is that she has to have a pussy and a pulse, essentially is what you said, then I would say that those bitches that you fuck around with ain't shit to begin with. And I would say a better classification as to whether or not a woman ain't shit is if she has kids and she doesn't have a good co-parenting relationship with the child's father, then she's probably an ain't shit bitch.
No, that ain't gonna motherfucking lead to nothing.
Yeah.
Especially a bitch who try to play niggas against each other. Bitches try to play their kids against each other. Bitches be hating their daughters because they daughter cute. I know how that go too, but I'm just saying, man, it's laws that motherfucking must be passed down. You can't be an absentee father coming in my house whooping nobody ass.
Edge case. Move on.
That's a rule that make motherfuckers feel like, oh, Corey, you wrong. Okay, what can I do?
It's an
Let me
edge
see, Baby
case.
D,
Move
49.
on.
Thanks, brother, for that lit. Already got my tickets Friday night. Marcus, put
3 hours away, I'll show you how to dress. Look at it.
shit heated now, because there's some motherfuckers out here like, shit, if it's my child, I do what the fuck I want to do. Nigga, you can't do
Not
what
if
the
you're
fuck
not
you
handling
want to
your
do
business and
in
you ain't
no
gotta
house
give
with
a-
no man.
Yeah.
Unless you are, like I said, if somebody is in their child life, raising
You
their
don't know it.
child and being there, man, I ain't trying to interfere with nothing like that.
Them niggas right there, most of them niggas got the same attitude as nigga, that's always gonna be my bitch.
You'll see. If it's my bro, I'm
you'll know
telling
right
you.
away.
Man, look, I talk about my shit. I fucked up. I allowed my baby's mother to be with that nigga because I saw the insecurity in that nigga. And I live way out here in LA. She live in Chicago. I actually fell back. Biggest mistake I ever made in my life. Don't never fall back, dog. If that's your bra, nigga, well, what the fuck I'm doing with my dick up in her? I'll tell a nigga that. If that's your bra, why, nigga, I just fucked the shit.
Again, he's using two different things. Like, from a mind of a trick, the only relationship that the person could have is, he's talking about falling back when it comes down to the bitch. Who gives a fuck about the bitch? Most people fall back around the bitch, but they're just falling back because they don't want to have anything to do with the bitch, right? What they really want to have to do with is with the child. But the bitch is basically interfering with that child's with the relationship with the child. So that's what's going on with that. Let me change this. So at the end of the day, like when he says fall back, I'm thinking that he was talking about falling back. Don't fall back when it comes down to a relationship with the child. But again, that's not entering into his trick mind. Into his trick mind, the only thing that's of value is the dirty bitch who's around fucking and not maintaining good relationships with the child's father.
Get out your bro. That's our bro, nigga. Now let's get this shit together and figure out when you get her and when I got her.
Now, let's back up here and listen to what the Simp Marcus had to say and what you just heard.
Yeah. If somebody is in their child life, raising
You
their
don't know
child and being there, man, I ain't trying to interfere with nothing like that.
Them niggas right there, most of them niggas got the same attitude as nigga, that's always gonna be my bitch.
You'll see. If it's my bro, I'm
you'll know
telling
right
you.
away.
Man, look, I talk about my shit. I fucked up.
So Corey is the type of person that Marcus was talking about. So he's the type of person that believes that he's still fucking the bitch, and therefore, because he's fucking the bitch, she's still his. So he just admitted to being the same motherfucker that Marcus just said that he's complaining about, but as of no consequence.
If that's your bra, nigga, well, what the fuck I'm doing with my dick up in her? I'll tell a nigga that. If that's your bra, why, nigga, I just fucked the shit out your bra. That's our bro, nigga. Now let's get this shit together and figure out when you get her and when I got her. That's what you tell these niggas. If you could still fuck her, that's not his bro. And don't hesitate making it known. When she cut you off from the pussy, then you be like, well, nigga, I guess that's your bro then, because she stopped fucking me.
Man.
But if you still fucking the girl that got your baby, listen to me, man. This is very important. If you still fucking the girl that got your baby, don't stop fucking her because you trying to be nice. Keep fucking her until she say, I can't do it no more.
So is that sage advice there, Marcus? You just pointed out what your insecurities were when it comes down to possible men still fucking your bitches. And that probably is happening considering that you're a simp. But what Corey is advocating is for those men who are fucking your bitches, Marcus, for them to continue to fuck your bitches and not move on. Like, this is some simp shit. This is some trick shit. This is some hoe shit. This is some fuck shit. is some bullshit. That's what this is. This is all bullshit, right? At the end of the day, here's my advice. If you gotta leave a bitch at any point in time, the only reason why you should get back in with her is to fuck her. That's it. And it should be completely understood between the two of you that it's just sex. That you're not trying to get into a relationship with her in any way, shape, fashion, or form. That you're just trying to have sex with her. But at the end of the day, like, even that is risky, because if you're having sex with a person like that and the condom breaks, or you're foolish enough to decide to go ahead and have sex with her without a condom, and you have a child by this person, then you're going to have a horrible experience with this individual, because she didn't really want to be with you in the first place. So at the end of the day, the risks involved in you doing that are too great. My suggestion would be simply to just not fuck with the bitch in the first place. Not fuck with the bitch in the first place. Why? Don't do it. But anyways.
And when she said, still fuck her. When she stopped doing it, when she stopped fucking you, that's when you be like, okay, nigga, well, maybe she is yours now.
You won, nigga.
Right. You can have her. She ain't give me no pussy no more.
See how simp ass Marcus flip-flopped there and started supporting what Corey said? No.
Some more problems. So you just want to create
This
some more
shit
issues.
limiting my child visits. I ain't fucking when I come over no more. It's just niggas don't say real shit like that. If you, as long as you fucking your baby mama that is not his woman, that's y'all woman. I learned the hard way, nigga. If you still fucking her, that's y'all, bro. Don't leave her life. That's her way of saying I.
So I'm realizing that Corey does just say sensationalistic, stupid shit. And because it's so sensationalistic and so base, people think that it's insightful. It's not really. It's just basic stupid shit. Basic hyperbole. It's like edge case bullshit. Like, none of what he's talking about is actually vetted through any sort of hypothetical situation or any sort of analogy. He's just throwing some shit out there, and it doesn't really make any common sense. But people are like, oh, yeah, I guess so. I think I understand. It's like listening to Kanye circa 2018 or something like that, or you know, when you're like listening to this goddamn interview of him rambling about shit, and you're like, I kind of sort of understand what the fuck he's talking about, but not really. Like that's the type of shit Corey does on a more simplistic level, to where you think you actually do understand what the fuck the simple shit that just came out of his mouth, but really it's just too simple to actually be applicable, right? And you won't be in the edge case scenario to actually do that. Like, who wants to fuck their ex? Like, and then have them still be their ex? Like, what man want? Fuck all of that, man. Like, honestly, it's not worth it. Just leave the bitch alone. Move on. Get somebody else. Boy, this microphone is ghetto as hell. But anyway.
I still need you. Keep fucking your bro. While you alive, that's pussy you supposed to have. Make another baby with her, goddammit, and y'all go to court and figure it out. Yeah, I think that's my baby too, even though that nigga with her.
So, polyamorous.
I let loose in about 8 times that much.
Great, you're advocating for that.
Don't nobody ever say that. Everybody in the motherfucking world, we lie and step around what it is. Take it from a nigga who done lost. Don't stop fucking your baby mama until she cut you off. I don't care if you got a bro. What you going over there? You ain't got to go over there to see your son. You could just have him meet you outside. Shut up! Don't interfere with me and my baby mama right now. I'm still fucking her. That means my kids get to see me more. This is a fact. When you fucking your baby mama, you see your kids more.
Okay, so I gotta say something. It's gonna be somewhat contradictory, but somewhat true. So a large amount of the times that baby mamas do actually fuck around with your kids is when the child's father no longer wants to fuck them anymore. In my particular situation, if I wanted to fuck my ex-wife or if I wanted to be in her life, I probably could be more regularly in my child's life. But since I don't want to have not a goddamn thing to do with her in any way, shape, fashion, or form, that her body is like so beneath me, it wouldn't even be funny. Like honestly. When Jesus Christ, I would never select that in any way, shape, fashion, or so sloppy. But anyways, if I wanted to mend our relationship on a romantic level in some way, shape, fashion, or form, I think that my prospects of being in my child's life would actually greatly improve. But that prospect disgusts me so thoroughly that that is not something I'm trying to pursue at the current time, and nor will it ever be something I pursue between now and the time that I die. And so that is true, but a broke clock is also correct twice a day. So I'm not really gonna give him that much credit for finally coming out with a point that I have to actually agree with.
Even if you only going over there for the pussy, the kids over there, so coincidentally, they get to see their daddy.
That's crazy.
I know it don't sound right, but it makes for a better place in America.
How?
Don't stop fucking your baby mama until she cuts you off. Don't be nice. Oh, I'm gonna go and let her and old boy just have their shit. Nah, don't do that, homie. Don't never stop fucking your bro. The reason she got that other dude because he serves a purpose. That's why the other dude is around her. He serves a purpose. He might babysit. He might fuck her good. He might motherfucking have connections with something. You know what I'm saying? But that shit might not last forever. Here it is, you done stop fucking your bra because you trying to motherfucking make some other nigga in her happy. Never make some other nigga in her happy. If that pussy is yours to have it. Only motherfucker you got to worry about is explaining to your bra. I got to keep fucking on my babies over there.
Yeah, now we're getting back into bullshit comedy. So now we're getting back into bullshit comedy. Probably gonna skip some of this and see if
Why'd
there's
you
anything
leave?
else.
I left because I don't want her. But her pussy is a tool used to bond the relationship with the children.
That's a great example to show your kids. Oh,
That's what they came
that's
out of.
real
Right,
great.
don't nobody say
Dad
this.
come and just knock her.
This shit.
Yeah, you shouldn't be-
Nobody tells
and I
us
feel you.
in our heart to do because we trying to make our broad happy or we trying to make, goddamn it, some family happy, the nigga and her. You fucking up doing that. You fucking up doing that. A baby mama is some pussy you supposed to keep fucking until she stop fucking you. And your woman that you love and care about and with right now, you should explain to her, listen, this is not about pleasure. This is about keeping the family closer.
No.
I mean, that's about with any bitch. I'm fucking that pussy till they run out.
What's say it?
He just flip-flop. Marcus just talked about how he didn't like that situation, and now he's trying to say that he does it based off of Corey saying that it's cool to do, man. Marcus, man, you're simping too hard. I ain't got time
Nigga
to
with
listen to
stamina.
the whole fucking shit.
Whatever the new nigga is, he there for that purpose. But she still cracked that ass open for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's an okay thing to keep showing the kids. You just pop in and out. They know what's going on.
Can I answer that for real without
Please
you
do
getting
that.
mad?
Oh, I'm not mad. I'm just what? See, why you say mad? I'm not mad.
The children
It's gross.
and everybody else need to know what it is. The children, and there ain't no Santa Claus. It's Dick coming through here putting presents under the tree.
Oh, that's
And that's why this nigga, listen, I'm on end right fucking day. So any advice coming from this individual about families, about children, about relationships, this is who you're dealing with right here. This is a person who calls them fuckers that you decided to keep, and he wants to make sure that the children learn that his tricking is what puts Christmas presents under the tree. That his tricking is what puts Christmas presents under the tree. I mean, I have nothing else to say. Like I'm unsubscribed to 5150. I don't think I need to see anything more from there. Definitely gonna take them off my little song, a little reference to them, and take that off. And I'm done. Like I don't need to hear anything more from this individual. It was funny. It was fun while it lasted, but I'm over that shit. So I could be alone in this thought process, but hey, it is what it is. Like again, when you are just doing comedy, it's one thing, but when you move over to commentary and giving out advice, that's a completely different animal. And when you're talking about this particular subject of you know, lack of a co-parenting relationship and whether or not what's the best way of handling that and what's the best way of going about that and what considerations an absentee father or a non-custodial father has to make considerations for the boyfriend in the situation when it comes down to their child. No, man, no. You know, because I'm not even going to go there. No, I'm just going to say no. No. Nobody has to make that kind of consideration when it comes down to this job. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's all my observations. I'm definitely not going through this whole thing. I actually stopped this shit like well before this when I saw this video. And I don't really want to hear anything else from this individual when it comes down to anything. So that's what it is. So I'm out.